You look at that.
Hey everyone, welcome to The World's Smartest People Discuss Season 1, Episode 5. So, real quick, before we get into everything, I just want to say, if you guys are watching this on Twitch right now, please share the stream on whatever social media you prefer. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe and like the video and leave a comment below.
And ring that bell.
Ring that bell.
Ding ding.
So yeah, I did just want to get that shit out of the way so we could move on. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about plant-based meat, the Shane Gillis debacle going on, and the truth behind vaping. And we have a little bonus topic if we get around to it. So
we better.
Hopefully Josh says we better. So let's go ahead and start off with this plant-based meat. So
it's not plant-based meat.
Plant-based meat. I put it in quotes on purpose.
I know, but I'm just saying this shit's not meat.
So we've got a couple of things here to try out, but no, yeah, it's
meat substance.
It's like soy.
Yes,
it's mostly like, is it soy based?
Pea
One's
protein.
Pea protein.
Pea as in the vegetable, not as in
P-E.
urine. I mean, urine's sterile, but still.
So
I don't only get
you
one to eat
guys
it.
are listening to the most informed, most intelligent opinions in the world, by the way. I just wanted to also point that out.
That is what the science says.
The world's smartest people.
That's what the science
discuss.
says.
The science says it all, and we are scientists. So
We're about to experiment, so
I do have an AS.
I got an ASS.
So if you guys aren't aware, which I'm pretty sure everyone is pretty caught up on this plant-based stuff, and I want to do the KFC one when it comes out. Actually, we should do KFC versus Popeyes.
Do they have
No, I'm just saying
Popeyes has
KFC plant-based versus regular Popeyes.
regular
come
Popeyes
on.
is going to slaughter that?
I don't know.
I have a feeling. My projection is that the KFC is going to taste like a chicken nugget.
I agree.
We're all meat eaters, right?
Yes.
That's why
Yeah.
our brains are so big. Anywho,
The suffering sustains us.
so basically, yeah, there's a big kind of like vegan fad going on, specifically in fast food, but also in grocery stores and
Correction, this is vegetarian. At least the Carl's one is.
Yeah.
You could ask for no mayo.
There's cheese.
No, there's cheese on it.
You could ask for no cheese.
You can.
Well, see, here's the thing: is I don't think this is necessarily supposed to be like a vegan or
agree.
option. I think the idea is that
it's a transition
It's like
to
a meat
meatless
substitute.
society.
yes,
Yeah.
the idea being that it's better for the environment. We don't have all the cows.
Yeah.
we eat this, and then
So
it's
eat-
good enough.
Let's eat this shit, and then let's talk about that.
So which one should we start off
What
with?
do you guys want to start with? It's your call.
I tend to like Carl's Jr., so I want to like them as long as possible. So how about we go with the King? And
Okay,
then,
let's do
The
BK.
fucking king.
Get all that mayonnaise.
There's a lot.
they
of fucking
mayonnaise the shit out of this. I don't know if it's
Oh,
supposed
that's-
to enhance the flavor, but
That's just like a fucking.
I will say the smell is very reminiscent of the normal Whopper.
So I am not allergic, but I'm deathly
If I'm gonna,
adverse to fucking mayonnaise, repulsed.
Okay, get some of the mayonnaise out there.
I'm going to like
That's
the
a mayonnaise
driest.
sandwich with a little bit of vegetables and
it looks kind of like a black bean burger. Just I've had one of those before.
That's
Just-
basically what it is. This is Impossible. They
Is it
use
Impossible?
Impossible meat, and the Impossible meat is a black bean.
In
Oh,
reality,
is it?
you can't
Yeah.
really taste the patty anyways. It's just like shrouded by the sauce.
no, but the charred edge is very burger-like.
Oh yeah.
There goes a little bit of something.
Yeah, I got it.
That tastes like Burger King
Except for the
No.
huge glop of mayonnaise.
to me. That
Honestly,
doesn't taste.
If
any
someone
different
slapped
than-
it in front of me, and I had never had an actual Whopper before, and nobody had told me that it was that it was plant
did you
based,
bring 2 napkins? When I asked you to bring napkins?
I probably wouldn't necessarily be able to tell the difference. Not after that first bite, at least.
to me, it tastes like Burger King.
It tastes like Burger King. It tastes like a Burger King burger, which I don't know what that says about Burger King, honestly. I guess we'll have to try the Carl's Jr. one before I can really.
I took 2 bites.
I'm proud of you.
eliminate some of this mayonnaise here and just go straight for the patty.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think
It's got some nice grill marks on it.
Yeah.
Oh, just the patty by itself.
By
That's
itself.
definitely, yeah, the smell by itself actually does have a difference to it.
All right, I'm gonna cleanse my palate with a little beer here.
But even the patty by itself, having had other Burger King burgers before, it tastes fairly similar. It's pretty dang close. It doesn't have
It has
a weird aftertaste or anything to it.
It has that
It's
charred.
not terrible.
It has that charred taste too, which actually
It
I was
does,
like,
yeah.
I was surprised how burger like the charred like.
It tastes pretty damn close to the
edge
patty.
was.
I wouldn't be able to. If they
I've had a really good black bean burger before too. Before this was a big deal.
If I was sitting
was
with a
Morningstar.
blindfold, I don't know that I'd tell the difference. If I was under blindfold and I couldn't actually see that obviously this patty looks a little different, I wouldn't be able to tell the
if you
difference.
threw that, if Burger King just replaced all its
You didn't say anything about
meat and didn't.
I don't
say
think
anything,
anybody would know.
I don't think
Yeah.
I'd notice in the least bit. It tastes like Burger King. Disappointing.
it.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready to do the
Carl's
Carl
Jr.?
Jr.?
Yeah.
This is the
Don't make me hate you guys.
Beyond Meat.
Now this does notably look a little lighter,
This one has cheese.
So it's not vegan.
and it is
Well, I mean,
like an
but
American
mayonnaise is
singles type
vegan.
cheese. It's not like a
Mayonnaise.
a normal cheddar.
mayonnaise, it's egg whites. That's right.
Get a little ASMR in there. I'm just kidding.
Does not taste like a burger,
It's not
No.
nearly as good.
but it tastes better than the Burger King.
No, I can't say that.
No?
Not mine.
I'm gonna have to
I'm-
disagree.
I
Yeah.
also disagree.
Let's give a little bite out of this.
Oh man. Maybe because I have higher standards for Carl's Jr.
That's what. Yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that this patty is thicker,
Mm-hmm.
but
I feel like it's a better constructed
The
sandwich.
texture sucks.
Yeah, the texture is.
the patty by itself has like a weird flavor to it. Not weird, but just it's off. It's not like
And Carl's Jr.
me?
uses the Beyond Beef,
Yeah.
which is supposed to be like the superior fake meat. That's like
To me, this tastes better than any Burger King. For the most part.
well, my discerning
I'm not a
palate
big
has to
Burger King
disagree with
fan.
you. I'm a big Carl's Jr. fan, so
I
this is
think
just
it-
this is disappointing to me.
I mean,
Like even if you slap some onion rings and bacon on this, it's not.
no.
not- it's not
Maybe
very-
if it was
it-
actually, I think if it was thrown in a Western style sandwich, I might like it more.
Only because the barbecue sauce would help it.
Yes,
in my
exactly.
opinion.
Can you sub the patty for any sandwich?
I don't
don't
think
know.
so.
That should be an option, right?
It would make sense.
I would think that they would, just because they did that with the $6 burger, where you could substitute the giant patties in most of the sandwiches. Although I don't know that they do that anymore. I think they were.
They have-
it
no,
was
they
an
have-
option, but
No, now they have just $6 menu.
yeah, I think they switched
I've managed both of them.
me too.
yeah.
No, I'll go for it, David.
Thank you.
I just want to point out they don't like mayonnaise, and both of these
I've made that
sandwiches
real-
have mayonnaise.
I made that real clear when we started.
We should got Del Taco then.
I'm fine with mayonnaise. It's just I don't like warm mayonnaise. Granted, our sample here is sat long enough that it's not hot anymore, but
I can say the Burger King mayonnaise looked like it was just splooged on there.
I'm moving on to the real vegan stuff. The zucchini, fried zucchini.
And you're not eating it with ranch. Wow, what a monster.
well, yeah, that's mayonnaise.
I'm too much on that.
That's better.
barbecue.
That's a much better choice right there. Barbecue sauce.
So,
Caution, those are hot. She wanted me to make sure you know.
Final verdict on which one's better. They're not hot.
Burger King all the way for me.
I would, if I was served one, basically my style of how I would like a burger of both of those, the Burger King one, I would be like, oh, okay, that's Burger King. Overall, what I think is a better sandwich, I'd say the Carl's Jr.
Ugh.
no,
I can't-
get
I
like
can't
a
say
weird banana taste. The Carl's Jr. one, yeah.
It has a different flavor to it that doesn't have a season like a meat or like a burger patty.
I like the char on the Burger King one.
Whatever they mixed in the Burger King one, like they got it pretty damn close to a Burger King flavored patty. It's pretty close. Close enough you could fool your kids with it.
I'll say I'm pretty much in the same boat as Seth. I think that the Burger King one tastes more like Burger King, but the Carl's Jr. one, I think I just liked more.
Yeah, I think overall I did like the Carl's one more. Just
like,
composition of the sandwich. If there was no mayonnaise, I'd probably like it.
I feel like they used, and it had cheese, which automatically makes it better.
There are only certain cheeses that make burgers, but I'm actually like in combination with other ingredients, I'm fine with American cheese, but I'm not a big fake cheese fan. I don't like processed cheeses. I like cheddar.
American cheese? I thought it was cheddar.
No, it was American cheese.
That's American.
However, that's not all we're really discussing. We're not just here to discuss the quality. Back to what Josh was saying, how these marketing ploys are more of a attempt to normalize eating non-meat. And I think at least Burger King's is a successful attempt.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say that.
It's almost indistinguishable.
What do you guys think about the overall idea?
I think it's a great idea.
Absolutely. I mean, red meat's good, but like, if you could cut down
cattle.
So have you guys like severely limited your meat intake before?
I don't. I eat one.
I need to.
Okay.
So it's not
no, I have. I regularly eat one meatless meal a day. Actually, that's typically two meatless meals a day. I typically only eat meat at lunch. And I don't try to avoid red meat, but it's never my first choice. Chicken is almost always.
But here's my thing.
Choice.
Anecdotally, like, I just wanted to see, because I have a rather sizable family. So me and my wife, I have 4 kids. So I thought when we were buying groceries, we were spending a lot of money on meat, just buying meals for a week. So I thought, well, let's try cutting out the meat. We can substitute it with all the other things and just see if like a slightly sort of vegan diet would be as substantial and save us some money, which it did save us some money. But there's just something not satisfying about not eating meat. Like, if you eat just plant-based, like, you can get all the nutrients that you need. You can survive off of it, but there's just something, I think it's probably because, like, it takes time for your body to process meat. Like, it rots in there, basically, which is part of the reason why if you eat too much of it, you get the meat sweats, you feel shitty. But it sticks with you. Like, you eat meat, it has to sit in your gut, so it feels, like, substantial. Whereas, if you go strictly plant-based, it just doesn't feel that way. You might feel better, but it's not as satisfying. Yeah. In my case, just purely anecdotal.
A lot of people say, like nutritionists and stuff, say that you're not supposed to feel like
satiated all day.
Full. Yeah, you're not supposed to have that full feeling.
We're not.
Well, if you're a grazer, but I mean,
being completely healthy, you should get to the point where you've eaten so much, basically. And then when you start to actually feel hungry, then you eat again.
Well, see, here's the thing is, I like the idea. I don't necessarily subscribe to it, and I'm not that familiar with it, but I like the idea of like intermittent fasting better, where it's, you eat your meat or your substantial meal, you have maybe 2 of those, but then like I skip breakfast every day. I feel fine with that. I have a nice dinner, I have a decent lunch, and then I don't need breakfast. I'm not hungry for breakfast in the morning.
Yeah. Most whereas meal of the day, dude.
If you're eating 3 yeah, right. If you are going to eat throughout the day, then maybe in that case it would make sense that you wouldn't want to have as much meat, that you wouldn't want to have like stuff that's going to sit with you longer. Like you would want to have stuff that would pass through quicker.
Faster. Yeah.
In that case, I think it would make more sense. But if you're only eating, like maybe 2 substantial meals a day, as opposed to, eating throughout the day, I just prefer meat.
I did intermittent fasting for a while. I would do just basically not breakfast, eat from in between noon and 6, eat whatever I wanted, basically. Not just like crap, but if I wanted to eat, I would eat. I found that wasn't it personally. I didn't find that was making me feel any better. I don't know. And then I decided I would just do basically plant-based breakfasts. I eat either like Raisin Bran or shredded wheat, basically.
Yeah, my plant-based breakfast is coffee. Like
there you
lots
go.
of coffee. That's about it.
I drink coffee too. I mainly my breakfast is mainly coffee.
Yeah.
You guys are probably not very regular.
I mean,
What are you talking about? Coffee makes you poop out?
They're not regular.
It
Not
kinda,
regular
I mean,
what? What do you mean?
it
It's
gets your bowels going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
It's a diarrhea,
Diarrhea,
but it's not.
you eat a lot too. Yeah, all those toxins, boy.
Yep.
Actually,
Yeah,
if you don't add anything to your coffee, it's really healthy for you.
Yeah.
If you drink I don't remember what I read, but like 2 or 3 cups of coffee a day throughout the day, it's supposed to be really healthy.
I probably drink way more than that. My problem is
You
I
add
use
sugar and cream.
it depends. So sometimes
I always do.
I do
too.
Typically, like my first cup, it'll be Coffee Mate and maybe some sugar, just because that doesn't quite sweeten it up enough. And then the second one, because I knew I had a bunch of sugar in the first one, I'll drink straight. Because I also have like coconut oil. So sometimes in that second one I'll do that. But that stuff, if you go crazy on that, you will shit a lot.
Well,
that oils up your insides, and yeah,
well, most definitely.
Coconut oil is really good for you too, though.
Yeah. Well, that's
And
the
it
idea.
tastes good.
I think the real question is though, if the vegans win and this is our only option, are you guys gonna be satisfied?
I mean, I don't think
No.
it should be our only option, but in regards
That's
to
not
like,
what the
a
vegans think.
A mass consumption sense, I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, as long as like actual meat is still like an option.
I've never
to the public.
I've never done it, but I'd totally be down to like hunt my own meat.
Yeah.
Like I think that'd be pretty awesome.
I like the
We
idea.
have, as humans, we have to keep hunting, because if we don't, certain invasive species are going to get way out of control.
Oh, deer.
Specifically, in
Deer.
California, boars,
Yeah, boars here.
wild pigs are out of control, and they were introduced back in like the
And they're open season year round. You
well,
can
yeah,
go out and
18
shoot a
what was it?
boar any time of the year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I need to do that.
Yeah.
I know you can go and do it on
And
Tahoe, but
boar meat is supposed to be really fucking good.
It's
Yeah.
decent. I've had it several times. It's grown up around a bunch of hunters. Boar is not my favorite. It's not as good as pig, but it's good.
Is it better than Carl's Jr.?
Better than that.
see,
burger.
I'm curious. I've never had a lot of game meat, but I know just like anything from a goat that I've ever had is fucking disgusting.
So I've primarily had deer and boar because that's what my family would hunt. Deer is a good substitute when it's thrown into like a stew or ground beef or like ground
Some
deer.
sausage.
Yeah, stuff like that. You can't really tell. Like I don't know, maybe I haven't eaten it since I was like 16, 17, so it's been a few years. Maybe I could tell now, but
Yeah.
I could tell you deer chili tasted just like chili to me.
Sounds good. I'd eat it.
But
But
do you want to save the planet?
That won't save the planet.
No, I know.
That
well, we would need to continue to at least have a controlled amount of hunting to save the planet.
Oh, I'm aware.
well, sure, but okay, yeah, but that gets into a whole another conversation. But as far as like pollution in the world, I mean, the Chinese eat like a primary staple is rice, right? They're eating plenty of vegetables over there, and they're probably kicking out the most pollution.
That's a whole different.
I know that's a whole different topic, but I'm just saying that was a pretty heavily plant-based.
Yeah. I mean,
But
diet.
methane is also a very, very heavy greenhouse gas.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Plug up your butthole? Everyone's gonna
The
create
number one
there's a
producer
lot
of
more
methane
cow
is
buttholes.
cattle.
There's a lot more cow buttholes than human buttholes, and they put out a lot more.
Well, they got what, eight stomachs? How many stomachs does a cow have? 4?
They're rumens.
I feel like I had more. Maybe I'm thinking a different animal. I don't know.
No, cows, goats, they're all rumens. That means they have
They-
4 stomachs.
They have more stomachs than us,
Yes.
and they're bigger. and they produce a shitload, and they're bigger animals.
Well, and what they
produce
eat,
a shitload more gas.
and what they eat, grass isn't the way their bodies break that down. It does produce a shit ton of methane.
Yeah, but see, the other part of that is though I'm not getting rid of milk products,
No, I
cheese.
agree. I
Like
agree.
you're gonna have the cows anyways,
You can milk a dairy cow for most of its life.
right? Most of what we see around here though are dairy cows, aren't there?
No,
Not in California. No.
most
Not in
of them are meat cows. No, absolutely not.
What? Around here?
Around Bakersfield.
Oh,
yes.
okay. I was like, I don't know
We
that
have
they're
a lot
killing
of
the cows
dairy
around here.
farms.
Fucking right there off the 99. That's all.
It's a
what's it
slaughter yard.
called? Yeah, that's
No, I know, but most of what's in Kern County are dairy farms.
Dude, that's like the biggest one. There's like
I know,
fucking
and there's
thousands
there's
of cows out there.
And there's another one out in Arvin.
They're delicious.
That they
I'm
are.
not disagreeing that they're delicious, but
I would rather see cow become more of just a bougie thing. I know that sounds like uppity, but like fancy Wagyu beef. I mean,
Yeah.
something you do. It's an event because, like you were saying, Asian countries
But what?
eat primarily rice. When they go and they have beef, it's an event.
Yeah.
It's a celebration. You go and have beef because you know you're spending $100 on dinner per plate, but it doesn't
Also,
matter.
Red meat is the cause of gout, the only cause of gout. So I mean,
There's a lot of shit about pickling that could cause gout. And
there's genetic things, but other than that,
Worth it.
it's just.
I'm
red
sorry,
meat,
man.
What I understand.
When it comes to eating anything, for me,
it's not.
it's like
It's processed meat.
I don't know if it's the suffering of the animal or what, but something about it is delicious.
David,
So
you're the expert on these meat, these Wagyu beefs and all that, right? So
What about them?
So is that a certain part of the animal?
No,
No,
So
it's
the way they take care of it and raise
it's
it.
the way-
it's
okay.
raised because it gives it like a certain like specific fat marbling
Yeah.
within the meat itself.
When it's
And so it's-
technically
it makes it
only
more
in
tender,
Japan.
softer, melts more in your
But-
it's
but-
like
Like
but
imagine
you're not
just you
taking-
not moving, like with as much beer as you drink,
Gotcha.
and you'd be like Wagyu.
Gotcha. But
And
this
you
is-
get massaged
I know, I'm just
all
this is
kidding.
day.
very weedy. So I mean,
And you get massaged all day by a little Asian man.
ooh, that sounds
They
great.
purposely
I wanna be a
want your
Wagyu
muscles
cow
to be
now.
as loose as possible.
Can we switch it to an Asian woman? but so it's not a particular cut of meat.
no.
And it is a particular breed of cattle.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
And there are
That's
specific.
okay.
There are specific.
let's
like,
murder all the
categories of
other
marbling.
cattle besides the milk cows.
I think they can actually age beef and get it close to a
Let's genocide off all the cows that aren't Wagyu or.
You can't get the marbling, but you can get a similar texture out of aged beef. Technically, what Wagyu is a style. There is also Koji beef, correct?
Kobe?
Kobe.
Kobe?
That is specifically only from a place in Japan.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Yeah.
Kobe.
But there's like knockoff
But it-
Kobe, which is
Well,
essentially.
well, I was gonna
the
say
same
No,
thing,
that's
right?
Wagyu. Wagyu is a
Is
style
it?
of raising was invented in Kobe, whatever however you pronounce it.
Okay.
Or is this like the difference between like whiskey and bourbon? Or
Champagne and champagne. Yeah. It's yeah, you can do it. It's yeah, like you said, it's this very no, this is only here.
yeah,
Any though you can do it elsewhere.
well, like Parmesan cheese.
Parmesan cheese
yeah.
and
I
Parmesan
got
cheese.
I gotta say though that double Western bacon was way better than either of those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my superstar was
That's my
I
go.
can't-
That's my go-to.
I can't.
Magnifique.
Yeah, it's sadly I was raised on meat, and I just don't think at this point, and maybe
Nutritionally,
if we started
you can survive
raising-
on just a salted
I mean,
potato.
I wouldn't mind it.
if our generation
Mm.
started raising their children on plant-based products, it might be an actual like thing that could happen. I feel like it's mostly not nostalgia, but it's mostly just a preference, I guess.
I agree. I think I said it perfectly. I want red meat just to cattle to literally just be a celebration.
I think you say everything perfectly.
I do too.
I think sort of the bigger calculus that you might need to take is what would be the difference between us having to raise this livestock and the extra farmland that we'd have to utilize to put together all.
It's already there.
Like, well, no, I mean as far as now you come into over farming or whereas you could hypothetically rotate the two crops or whatever where you have like cows sitting on there and all that.
And also a lot of the primary ingredients in those are legumes, and legumes are nitrogen enriching plants.
What you really got to think about is, are the plants going to be putting off as much greenhouse gases as the animals?
Harvesting crops is nowhere.
Will we put off more greenhouse? Like I don't know about you, but sometimes just a strictly vegetable diet makes you fucking fart.
The thing is, methane output won't be changed any. What would be changed is, yes, we would have a fraction of CO2 emissions rising from transporting and producing the meat.
And this is one step. This isn't like, I mean, this is one thing we can do. There are other things we can't do. Electric vehicles. I mean, there are other things we can do to decrease
I agree.
greenhouse gases.
I would, the other part is I'd have to see this get cheaper. I might be down if it got cheaper.
Right now,
I mean,
if it was mass produced, it would be a lot cheaper.
They're mass producing it now. We'll see if it gets cheaper, and I'll see if I like it.
Because currently it's just $6 for like a Whopper.
That's $6 for a Whopper anyway.
That's because of the demand. I believe
they're hyping the shit out of this stuff right now. So I'm sure there's a lot of demand for this plant.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I think they're just trying to get people to.
There was a high demand for the.
No. I think he's saying this is more than $6.
They know there's a high demand.
It was $6? Oh.
They know there's a high demand, so they're just like jacking up the prices while it's big. They know that people.
It's the same price. Carl's Jr. is expensive. Burger King's specialty sandwiches are expensive.
Yeah.
And they only put the Impossible.
But if you go to the grocery store, you can buy a pound of beef for way cheaper than a pound of.
Well, yeah, that's where you're correct.
But the other thing too, though, is this fake meat is not. It's just fractionally better for you than actual meat. Like it's pretty close in calories, nutrition wise. Yeah. It's not great for you. It's still gonna.
I want to see what you think when we get to the vaping subject.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I feel like you're gonna flip flop on that exact same premise.
No.
That's what we were talking about earlier. But shit.
There's a line. There's a line on that one, which we'll get to. Yep. I'll explain it.
You will explain it.
Well, I mean, if anyone else has any thoughts on this, David, Josh. I forgot to introduce all our smartest people in the world. I'm sorry, guys. Everyone's been on before.
Absolutely.
They know us. They love us. Especially me.
You may recognize my voice. You've never seen me before.
Oh, yeah. You've never been? Yeah.
No, I haven't been in room.
Yeah, this is the
I'm the guy hiding behind the internet.
He's also very tall, but he's slouching. It's hard to tell.
Also have a very long beard.
It's because the mic is so low. I'm taller. So, I guess, let's just go ahead and move on to the next subject, which is
Shane Gillis.
Shane Gillis. So, if you guys don't know about this, it's not really that big of a news story, I don't think, but it's kind of. I mean, if you're more into like comedy, if you're more into like kind of that. If you keep your eye on like the outrage culture stuff, which I don't actually typically, but ever since doing this podcast, it's so much more noticeable to me. So Shane Gillis said a couple things. Racist. It depends on how you take it, really. Racist comments.
He said some words that could be perceived as racist.
He said,
but he's a comedian, and it was in a comedy setting.
Okay, yeah. So we will get to the actual discussion.
Given the context, I can see why he.
Okay. So the thing is, he was hired to be a face on SNL, be one of the stand-in comedians, that they rotate through sketches and be one of the newest guys on SNL. They also hired 2 other people, which I feel like have been just in the shadow of this whole thing, which really sucks for them, in my opinion. But he said some stuff, and then he made an apology. So let's go ahead and look at the apology first, real quick.
That note tweet.
Fuck, did I not save the apology?
No tweet. Yeah, he just typed it and looked a little.
Also,
Oh no, I think I didn't save the. Well, I'm looking for it real quick. Here we go.
Are you just gonna say the word that he said so we can?
He said chink.
Okay.
I'm not.
I didn't hear you say chink. So.
And obviously, I don't go around throwing that word out. But this is. I feel like everyone being like C asterisk like K. I'm like,
cock.
really? Like, let's just say the word that he said. It's not.
It was.
It's not a good word, but it's not like whatever. So here's
what's the etymology
so here's the
of that
apology,
word?
and I'll get to the video, the resurfaced video in a little bit. But here's his apology after this all came down. He says, "I'm a comedian who pushes boundaries. I sometimes miss. If you go through my 10 years of comedy, most of it bad, you're going to find a lot of bad misses. I'm happy to apologize to anyone who's actually offended by anything I've said. My intention is never to hurt anyone, but I'm trying to be the best comedian I can be, and sometimes that requires risks." So, I don't know. Not a great apology. It doesn't seem sincere at all. I don't think he feels bad about it. I don't know if he should feel bad about it.
He shouldn't. I'm really annoyed that he felt the need to backpedal. I mean, I get it because getting on SNL is a big deal, and I understand that. I think more than anything, he put out an apology like he knew he would have to keep this opportunity.
Yeah. Oh, he also I don't know if it was before he applied or before the interview or what, but he deleted all of those podcast episodes, all of his podcasts. He just deleted it all, which is where this comes from. So he and one of his friends had a podcast that is called Shane and Matt's, or Matt's and Shane's Secret Podcast, and it was very edgy, not particularly my type of humor. Like
was it,
at least from what I saw, I didn't think it was very. I didn't find it very funny.
Was it meant to be like shock jock?
It seems
comedy
like it.
type?
Yeah, it seems like it.
Well, I mean, if that's the way he built it,
yeah,
then...
that's the thing. Is like, I'm not knocking him for doing that, but I didn't find it that funny personally. It's just kind of like whatever. I don't know. So, anyways, there's that. So I kind of want to go through a couple other things here just to kind of show you guys. A lot of people were pissed off about this. A lot of people are kind of on his side, especially people who are in the comedy business. They don't want to see comedy deteriorate to a point of just 2 jokes, basically, that you can make, which I totally understand, because I do think that there's a danger of eventually comedy just not being allowed to be comedy and just being, this is what you can say. And that's a very authoritarian kind of perspective on the world.
Comedy from the beginning is meant to make you think in a different way about things. Like it was used in the early days to bring attention to politics and to bring a very very perspective. So they said some things that were outrageous, and it made you think about those things in a different way. If you lock down on comedy, I mean that's another perspective that you're losing,
and language in general. So I want to show you guys this real quick. So we got Donovan, aka Crip Daddy, here, who is great. If you guys aren't following him on Twitter, follow him. He's fucking hilarious. He says, "A story for people that get told to apologize for jokes. This is his kind of response to the entire thing. So we're gonna go and watch this real quick. Talking to his mom.
So, a few years ago, I remember posting a joke on Facebook back when I was using Facebook more often. And the joke goes as follows. Guy walks into a bar and is greeted by a very attractive waitress. Hands in the menu and he sees a listing. It says cheese sandwich for $1, $5 hamburger, and a $10 hand job. Guy gets really excited, pulls out his wallet, and says, "Miss, are you the one that gives hand jobs?" Her, being excited, says, "Why, yes, I am." Says, "Well, better go wash your hands because I'm in a hankering mood for a cheese sandwich." It's a joke. I remember posting that joke.
It's a
on
good joke.
Facebook, and there was a lot of people that got mad at that joke, genuinely mad. Like they were offended. I wish I could tell you because it's been so long. I don't remember. All I remember is that amongst the people that were upset with that joke, one of my old teachers responded. And I didn't apologize. I didn't apologize for the joke. And he responded and said, "Donovan, you need to accept that this was a tasteless joke and that you need to apologize to everyone here that this joke is offending." Now, I was well out of high school.
All right, we're gonna redo this real quick. Sorry, live viewers. I'll just cut this and restart for everyone.
Technical problems, they happen.
All right, here we go.
Mom, can I tell you a story?
Sorry, guys, you gotta watch this live.
So, a few years
I'm
ago,
on the live view.
This
I
is
remember
natural.
posting a joke on Facebook back when I was using Facebook more often. And the joke goes as follows. Guy walks into a bar and is greeted by a very attractive waitress. Hands in the menu and he sees a listing. It says cheese sandwich for $1, $5 hamburger, and a $10 hand job. Guy gets really excited, pulls out his wallet, and says, "Miss, are you the one that gives hand jobs?" Her, being excited, says, "Why, yes, I am." He says, "Well, you better go wash your hands because I'm in a hankering mood for a cheese sandwich." That's a joke. Now, I remember posting that joke on
Very good joke.
Facebook,
My opinion.
and there was a lot of people that got mad at that joke, genuinely mad. Like they were offended.
Why?
I wish I could tell you because it's been so long. I don't remember. All I remember is that amongst the people that were upset with that joke, one of my old teachers responded. And I didn't apologize. I didn't apologize for the joke. And he responded and said, "Donovan, you need to accept that this was a tasteless joke and that you need to apologize to everyone here that this joke is offending." Now, I was well out of high school when this happened, so him coming in and telling me what to do really fucking pissed me off.
Oh yeah, of course.
I was very angry, and I didn't say anything. It's been festering inside me for so long, but I remembered very recently the old adage of, if you wait long enough, justice will be served. And Mom, I am happy to inform you right now, when looking him up on Facebook, he has cancer.
Oh man.
Ben,
What? What?
that's horrible.
For him, yes, I totally agree. Maybe he should apologize.
So there's a little bit of comedy for you guys. If I don't know if that's it's a cancer joke. What if that becomes offensive one day?
It is.
It is.
You can't
It
talk-
already
It is.
is.
But what if it becomes outrage offensive,
You know-
where people can silence you?
Dude, people have gotten offended about me making jokes about my personal life. I've made jokes about shit that's happened to me,
Same
and
here.
people go, How could you say that?
Whenever, especially when it deals with like death of,
Yeah.
I get you.
I think we're getting actually close as far as cancer goes. I think we're getting close enough to a cure now that it might be cured before it gets to that point. To be perfectly honest,
Well,
like just with
12 years back, George Carlin was warning about this entire fucking
It's
thing.
a cycle, dude.
He was like,
It's the offended
But
culture is a
when
cycle.
when he was young, there was people that were offended, but it wasn't like this. I mean, this is
they didn't have a platform.
Well, I mean, yeah, I was gonna say
This
it's
has
just
gotten-
easy to do it.
Yeah,
now.
it's definitely social media has brought this along. Where we're at right now,
100%.
and so I did want to talk about something. But let's hit a couple more of these tweets. I probably won't do all of them. I did want to mention. So he was hired to do SNL. What's weird to me is this guy. Why would he want to do SNL? SNL is such a clean and straight show, and he doesn't seem like a clean and straight.
SNL is not really that clean and straight.
But I mean, like in
It's-
comparison to like his
It's
type of
mainstream
humor.
Oh, okay.
media. It's mainstream media. It's not like stand up. It's not stand up. Stand up is very raw, and you can do anything.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can.
Not anymore.
Depends on
Yeah,
it depends on the platform of stand up.
We just talked about
and
Chappelle.
and how and
Yeah,
what's his
but-
Rotten Tomato score?
Yeah, his
but yeah.
audience score is
It
amazing.
is amazing.
Through
Well,
the
this
roof,
is what I'm
as
saying.
it should be.
So
Yeah, it's.
but the thing is, it's so. I wanted to talk about. Okay, let's just go into so. There is a thing that people say a lot, which is like there's this vocal minority, right? Which I actually feel like I don't like saying vocal minority and everything, and I'll kind of get into that a little bit.
Are you triggered by the word minority?
No.
Or vocal.
So here's the thing. Actually the far right now has coined vocal minority and variations of that to where they're now making vocal minorities seem like anyone on the left, not just the fringe.
Well, right, because the idea is these people that are in front of you and that you see or that are making all this noise are a minority, whereas America does
But
not
that's
follow
not
blah, blah, blah.
that's not everyone on the left.
No, I'm saying that's their intent.
But
Like that's the whole reason they've
now
coined that phrase.
The far right has made this so. What it's starting to become is an introduction process, like a what do you call it? Like a kind of like phasing kind of process. And in the far right, they are doing this. They're engaging people, trying to get them pulled in by this, and then introducing them to more and more far right topics, which is very scary. Yeah,
I'm not following what you're saying.
They're using like this. They're using these people. They're like outrage
Okay.
culture, and they're being like, look at how bad they are. And then in the same kind of content, so I'm mainly talking about content creators
to like
Okay.
subvertly switch it over.
Yeah,
so, like,
exactly.
more- I get what you're saying.
They start out with like, oh, these fucking outrage mobs, blah 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 blah, and then they're like, they go into like something that's like, wait. If you're as smart as us, you'll be like, wait, that's not cool. But if you're, I mean, they're complex. So.
It would make it's a tactic that would make sense where you're like,
Yeah.
look at this person, they're being ridiculous. You don't want to be ridiculous. You're not like that person, right? We're normal. That's a typical
It's
Yeah.
kind of like a
tactic
So they
on
go
both
with
sides,
that,
but
and
yeah,
then they're
that-
like, oh, all black people do this kind of. I mean, maybe not like that.
I don't know if it's that
far of a
extreme,
leap.
but
Not that. Maybe not that far of a leap,
Right.
but that's kind of like
so you're saying they use
they.
subtle
That's like the
suggestion-
introduction to it. It's I trust me. I watch a lot of far right stuff just to
if
see-
you can create these false logical steps that would turn you into a racist, I mean,
Okay,
is that what you're
here's the
saying? Like
thing.
you take
For
it a
us-
step. Well, if you think this, then
For-
you should also think this.
For us,
and if you think
that
this,
seems
then you should
ridiculous.
also think this.
But again, we're some of the smartest people in the world. I'm not okay, and I'm not.
I
I'm not
guess
trying to,
what he's saying, like to the individual, may seem like a little bit crazy, but I guess
Yeah,
like,
I'm not trying to-
broader
I'm not-
sense,
I'm not
it's
trying to-
pretty easy to
Hmm.
like.
I'm not trying to demean anyone, but some people are gullible,
Yeah, and that's
and some people are easy to be fooled by those kind of tactics. And it may seem to us, especially that we're just talking about it right now, and we're not even being approached by that kind of thing. But even if I would probably be able to call bullshit like on the spot.
Yeah, but even you're
Me,
that's I know, but my thought is you know, you could also have somebody try to make the argument that Trump is doing all of the retarded and saying the dumb stuff that he's saying in a bid to use that to control the public.
yeah, they are doing that too.
Or he could just be a moron. I mean,
No. What I'm saying though is specifically when you're talking about saying the vocal minority, the far right has now been utilizing that phrase as well as other variations of that phrase.
do you feel
So
like the
is the
far
far
right
left.
is that until that's
No,
what I'm saying?
The
Are
far
you-
left, the far left isn't really. They'll say it, but the far right is like weaponizing that term, those terms.
Well, no, the far left is like they build their credibility on virtue signaling,
Yeah.
whereas like the far right is, well, if you think this and you think this, then it would make sense that you think this,
Mhm.
and so logically you should be with us.
Generally speaking, yeah, but that's what I'm saying is they're using that terminology now. So all I'm saying though is that I think that saying vocal minority is probably not a great.
I wouldn't say that's any sort of
It's just,
slur or.
It's not a slur.
I mean-
no, I'm not saying it's a slur.
Well,
all I'm saying
what
is,
he's saying. What my understanding is, you're saying it's nomenclature associated with the far right.
basically, yeah, is what it's becoming.
Okay,
Yeah.
I disagree, but
It's. I don't
Maybe
think
you're
that. I don't
already
think.
inoculated.
I don't think they're
Trump
they're
2024.
purposely.
2024. Oh, that's a great name.
I don't think it's like a purposeful.
He's actually put
like
that out.
vocal. He did, yeah. I saw it
Holy.
the other day. Like I said, he could just be a moron. I mean, come on. Occam's razor here, guys.
People give him a little too much credit.
There's people.
I think
I've seen it both. I've seen people go, "Look, he's normalizing that he's already won 2020 and saying, oh look, I'm going to win again in 2024, and he's going to edit term limits." No, he's just probably just
Yeah.
like you said.
I think
more
he-
likely just an idiot.
I don't think.
I think he
he's-
also uses a lot of trigger language to get people to pay attention to things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I don't think he's a moron, but
I do.
I think he's pretty intelligent.
How do you get a
Well, that's
casino
what
to go
he-
bankrupt in Vegas?
He knows how to handle.
That's not
public
He's
perception.
not the only one who's ever done that. That happens all the time.
Hmm.
More casinos go bankrupt in Vegas than succeed. Yes.
That's the first I'm hearing of it.
Well, why do you think there's so many different? Like every, I don't know, 5 to 10
But-
years, there's a new casino.
But that doesn't matter. I mean, he does understand.
He
business to a
understands
certain
the
degree.
public.
Yeah.
He understands how
He knows
he
how
has
to
PR.
manipulate, yeah.
Yes.
So he's not a total moron, but people do give him way too much credit for being this kind of mastermind.
He's not playing underwater 4D chess,
Yeah.
but he is making
Underwater
moves.
4D chess.
He is making moves that he is thinking about how he influences things.
Well, yeah, and we're gonna see it in this next election. It's
Yeah.
very, very soon. It's
Yeah.
coming. It's right around the corner now.
Yeah.
It's next year.
That's right.
So,
Here in California, vote in March.
uh,
That's your primary. Got moved up.
Speaking of Trump, are we transitioning or are we staying on this topic?
we are going to
Trump.
stay on this topic.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because
Speaking
I
of Trump, that's so speaking of Trump though, there's someone who's contending with Trump in the 2020 election who I'm actually quite a fan of, and
Use water.
I don't really vote, so I can't say.
Anything at all. You have no say.
Yeah, I do.
Your vote is
I'm
your
still
say.
American.
It doesn't. It
I
literally
still
means
have a
nothing. You can
voice.
say. Yeah.
I still have a voice. Oh, you're trying to take
So
my
you're
voice away.
so you're
Trying to take my
electioneering
voice
right
away.
now.
Huh?
You're electioneering right
I don't know
now.
what
You're
that means.
you're using your opinion to influence someone else's vote.
Potentially. I'm not saying that mine.
Whereas
has
you
to.
could use your
It
vote.
doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. Thank you, Mystery Hand.
Oh, mystery hand, come back. This one needs water.
Can you get my soda from the fridge, please?
I got a water. I'm very good. Thank you.
Let's not get into gender roles here, but
So she didn't want to be on the podcast. I just want to
Just so you know.
I just wanted to point that out. Yeah.
So Andrew Yang, he did talk on this a little bit. Hold on, real quick. Let's go back. I want to bring up Donovan Crip Daddy. He says no one needs to hear about. Oh wait. This is it. So he says, where are all of his? Okay, whatever.
thank you.
I personally don't even understand what's offensive about his joke about the diner. Exactly. Can someone explain that to me? So the Crip Daddy one.
You don't understand
You
the
didn't get
joke?
I get the joke. I don't understand why it's offensive.
Because it's derogatory towards women.
Go make me a sandwich. I
Go-
don't
The
know.
joke, though, is that she has to wash her hands because she's been jerking dudes off.
Right.
Yeah, she's a prostitute. It's not funny to make fun of sex workers.
It's not really. She's
Don't
really,
make fun of sex
she's not
workers.
really a prostitute. She's not.
She's a
fucking
sex
up.
worker.
That's a sex
She's
worker.
performing a hand job as a job.
It's just
That's part of the menu. She's at a diner, and that's just part of the menu. Why do you assume it's sex? all of a
You're
sudden?
being paid for a sexual act.
That's
Sex worker.
work. Yeah.
Is it sex?
Tony
if it's
knows
not
he's just being.
intercourse?
He's just being.
Okay, I still don't understand exactly what's offensive about.
No, it's probably the sex. He didn't know either. It's probably the sex worker angle, if
Yeah,
anything,
I
like
would say.
shaming a sex worker.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
So,
dumb.
Like, go wash
It's
your hands because I don't want that other dude's semen on my sandwich.
So Yang 2020,
No extra mayonnaise.
Yang Andrew Yang here. He says, "I prefer comedy that makes people think and doesn't take cheap shots, but I'm happy to sit down and talk with you if you'd like." Which he's running for president. He cannot say one single thing out of line. So actually, I think this is a pretty ballsy move. And then down here he says, "For the record, I do not think he should lose his job. We would benefit from being more forgiving rather than punitive. We're all human." So cool. Andrew Yang is one of the most down to earth fucking candidates running at the moment. But
Jesus, look at that first comment.
I know. Yeah. So,
Shane calling you a,
yeah.
we'll say C word,
So
on his
on
podcast is beyond a cheap shot.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot of people, and I have a couple that I do.
There's a lot of vocal minorities in
So,
that
let's-
that thread.
Let's pull up Ricky Gervais here. Oh, what? I just had his actual tweet. What happened to it? God damn it.
You could have deleted it.
No, I think it just went back to his homepage. I think it defaulted back or something. May 9th. He deleted it?
That's what I said.
But I was already on it.
Yeah, and if it deleted
Oh,
it, and
here, wait.
yeah, and if you
14 hours.
Do you remember what? it
Okay, here it is. Please stop saying you can't joke about anything anymore. You can. You can joke about whatever the fuck you like. And some people won't like it, and they will tell you they don't like it. And then it's up to you whether you give a fuck or not, and so on. It's a good system.
I disagree with that statement.
Should
I
I?
don't
Can I?
disagree
Should I
with that
do
at
it?
all.
And should I do it
I
in a
disagree.
British accent?
No, please don't.
Please.
Please
One
stop
that's
saying.
that's coming from a European perspective, which is a lot more open-minded.
No.
Yes, it is.
Britain?
No, they're a lot more
They're a
conservative.
lot more
in
strict.
regards to fucking comedy and shit.
No, they're a lot more strict. Count Dankula went to jail for
Count
making
Dankula?
a Nazi.
Who the fuck
Nazi.
is Count Dankula?
Count Dankula went to jail for
Dank as
making
fuck, bro.
a Nazi joke.
No, here's my thing. It's when it comes to comedy in itself is sort of like a form of capitalism. It's like you are putting out comedy, and if your comedy is not funny to people, they won't see you.
Exactly.
So you can say whatever you want. There are repercussions for what you say, but the people that are making judgments on what you say should be thinking about context.
It should matter more. Oh, I just saw counting. It should matter more about what everyone thinks, right? Than what you say, which is exactly what Ricky Gervais is saying here. If people don't like you, then it kind of sucks because he kind of backwalks it a little bit, or walks it back a little bit. Oh, here's Count Dankula right there. Yeah, so he says, yeah, but so Count Dankula, by the way, was arrested and in jail for months for making a Nazi joke in the UK. Joke? He made his pug do a Sieg Heil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. They are way more progressive than us. We are fucking freedom
regressive.
fighters.
No, I'm just kidding.
We're chaotic evil compared to... so anyway, that's his take on it. He kind of walks it back a little bit. I feel like he saw people that were his fans. Like, he probably saw his numbers dropping.
This is why I don't tweet. I don't need people to know what I'm thinking. I'll say it if I want you to hear it. I'm not going to type it.
So I disagree because
let's see a couple of the ones that are...
Like, I agree with the point, but the problem is in fucking cancel culture, what ends up happening is, once again, a vocal minority costs people their job. A vocal minority DDoSes people. A vocal minority gets people swatted. A vocal minority does the shit that endangers people and gets kids killed.
I want to point out...
making jokes.
I want to point out, though, that Shane Gillis is not going to be hurting from losing he's not going to be making... So it's a good job. It's a good gig.
Yeah,
you're going to...
fucking good gig.
You're basically... Like, there's been people on there for fucking 10 years at points, you know? Like, you have a job that's not going anywhere as long as you keep it, as long as you don't see any... And it's not the best paying job. That gets you into, like, the movie business and stuff, kind of, is the idea, right?
Transition.
So, but he's already doing pretty well for himself. I think he just saw that fat paycheck.
I had never heard of him before.
I never heard of him before either.
Same.
Okay, yeah, you guys have never heard of him before, but for a stand-up comedian, he's doing pretty well. And if he wants to be
by him,
so if he wants to be a stand-up comedian, he should be a stand-up. But if he wants to be an SNL personality, then...
Not true.
Here's the thing. His speech, the way he was talking, was a period in time. He did not think possibly I'd end up on SNL.
Less than a year ago.
Okay. You think he was already interviewing for SNL at that point?
He had to have applied for it.
Or at least been...
Adam Sandler was still doing stand-up when he was on SNL. Adam
Sandler did not make racy jokes ever. He made jokes about Jews, which he is.
He made a whole movie that centered around him being a retard.
Yeah,
Waterboy.
Well,
it was all about him acting like a retard.
They don't ever.
He
say
says
that.
he tackles the guy for being
quite a lot here. This is 2019.
No, I'm saying in the context of this, I'm not saying he is a retard. I'm saying that was the premise of the movie.
Yeah, he's an adult that's happy to be a water boy.
That was a scene in the movie with the KFC looking teacher,
Colonel Sanders.
Yes, was making fun of him.
Yeah. Okay.
And then he tackled him. Like that's kind of.
Adam Sandler's pretty racy comedy.
That was actually after SNL, also.
Yes.
So we could say once you're out of SNL, you can pretty much do whatever you want.
Have you heard any of his comedy albums from before?
Yeah. Those are pretty racy, dude.
They're not that bad.
I don't think
Goat in the Truck.
I don't remember that one.
Well, yeah, go look it up. It's good.
What's it about?
It's a talking goat. Like these guys come up and talk to this guy or talk to the goat. It's a talking goat because his friends don't believe him. So he brings his friends up to talk to this talking goat, and it's owned by this old man.
2019 for that joke.
There was the goat was talking about getting effed in the ass. So
He wouldn't get canceled in 2019,
for
basically.
I don't know.
It would just be
Possible.
considered.
The thing is, we're
Waterboy wouldn't. A
thing
Waterboy
is-
could never air today. I could say that for sure.
Yeah, I don't know that he would have got that
I don't
passed. at this
Anyway,
point.
so I lost my train. So this guy applied for SNL.
Okay.
Okay, so if I'm like,
SNL's kind of a long shot, though. Really, I mean, that's a big process to get through.
Why would you change your
You guys-
entire style because you've applied for a job?
Yeah.
no, exactly. Well, but what he did was he deleted all his previous podcasts
Well,
and stuff.
Because now he's got
Because
the
he knew
job.
he had to clean it up.
No, this was before he got the job.
Oh,
Maybe
He knew he had to clean it up
because he knew it was
he
gonna-
anticipating
Yeah.
the job.
I'm sure.
Yeah, he was already cleaning up his act before that too. It just is like he was doing really well. He was being invited to a lot of like popular comedians podcasts. He was working his way up the chain, and then as soon as he met fucking what's the dude's name?
no idea.
Not Michael Moore. What is his name? The fucking showrunner for SNL.
Lauren Michaels?
Yes.
Okay.
Lorne Michaels. He basically was like, "Oh, I'll take that cock and I'll just suck on that." So
Delete that. Retracted.
Now you can't be on SNL.
I don't ever plan on being. If I did succeed in a comedy career, I would not want to be on SNL.
I would. I'll take that
Oh.
paycheck. Seth Carlson.
All day.
But
Get a hold of me.
if you're a
Millions of
comedic-
people
if you're a comedic
seeing
artist,
you and whatever
you-
work, whatever capacity you could be in, it'd be worth the eyeballs. Like it puts you in
that
in,
depends on
in
how
the
you
national
look.
spotlight.
That depends on how you look on it. Like, do you care about fame and money, or do you care about
how many
being a comedian, being a stand-up? Stand-up is a whole like
Right.
different lifestyle.
but how many
than just being
sketch
a-
comedians that have been on there, how many of them have had their careers hurt by SNL? It can
Probably-
only help.
There's no way to tell that, because who knows? They could have ended up being very popular stand-ups, and then they just threw their life in the garbage.
They could be
We
popular
don't know.
stand-ups for all we know.
There's no way to tell that. You're just being like, oh well, they were on SNL, so they were successful. You can't do that.
I agree with what he's saying, though. It's a consistent.
But you agree that
Why are you agreeing?
you agree that
Don't
they
agree
could not
with
have
it.
been successful if they
No,
were.
I'm not agreeing with
That's
that.
basically what he said.
No, I'm
Well-
saying that it is a platform for success.
I was gonna say, yeah, it does boost it somewhat, whether you'd like to admit it or not.
It's a consistent
Okay.
audience. It's a consistent performance. It's a consistent. Here is material. It's a resume. It's a portfolio. I mean,
He's getting exposure nonetheless.
Yeah.
It's,
Oh,
it is
shit.
what
Not
it is.
anymore. Okay, so SNL.
I mean, you could argue with all this coverage he's
SNL
getting now,
hasn't.
he is getting
I
more
was gonna
exposure.
get to that too, but SNL hasn't officially said anything yet. So it's looking like, though, he's probably gonna lose his job on SNL. But this whole controversy has done nothing but good for him. So if he goes back to just stand up, everyone who's into stand up is already on his side.
Well, here's my thing: is if he keeps bending, if he bends over anymore, I think it'll
He
hurt
hasn't
him.
bent over at all.
He apologized.
I think he played that perfectly.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
if he
what-
goes beyond
his
that, though, I
apology,
think it'll hurt him.
He
in the
hasn't. He's
That's what I'm
posted
saying.
since
I-
then. So what I think he played it perfectly. I don't know if he knew. Well, I don't think there's any way to anticipate that his apology was going to outrage more people, but it did, and that's his apology is what is basically the main focus of everything. How it was like a very nonchalant, blunt, I don't give a fuck what you think apology. It wasn't a good
It
apology.
was. Are you kidding me?
We'll go do it right now. So
He said he
Who's
basically
King
said,
Shane?
you know, I make jokes, and sometimes they're shitty jokes. They're gonna be, if you don't like them, I understand, and I'm sorry if they hurt your feelings. That was basically what he
So-
said.
he says I sometimes miss, but what he says is I'm happy to apologize to anyone who's actually offended by anything I've said. That's not a.
If you're actually offended by what he said, he's
He's
willing to
basically-
apologize
yeah,
to
And
you.
he's basically, and And then after that, he says, I can sometimes. So he said,
His
"I'm trying
intention
my
was not
best.
to hurt
Excuse me,
people.
I can sometimes, and I can be, and sometimes that requires risk.
I understand
He-
Tony completely.
He's
They-
not.
they-
This is not a sincere apology.
This
Because this is Twitter.
No,
He's not apologizing to us. This is
a-
hey, if you want an apology, it's here. But I'm a comedian, and sometimes I make
No,
shitty
I don't
jokes.
know. Maybe in the DMs he's apologized to fucking 100,000 people.
For all we know.
I doubt it.
You don't know.
This is
This
Okay.
is a. I'm sorry that hurts your feelings.
some people are
Which
saying,
is a valid.
So a lot of
That's an
people are
apology.
saying he
Just-
shouldn't have apologized at all, which is kind of my actual
I
stance
agree
on
with
it.
you.
I
We
agree
shouldn't
with
have.
that.
He shouldn't have apologized at all. He should have just let it all go. But by apologizing, he actually made his name way more popular.
I still never heard of him before you.
He's
Yeah,
Same.
he's
Sorry.
blown up. Okay, it doesn't matter if you've never heard of him. You've never heard of a lot of shit. I've never heard of a lot of shit. That doesn't mean that he's not.
But I've heard of a lot of shit. I don't know what you're talking about.
I've heard of
Yeah,
SNL,
that
but I've
band,
never
a
heard
lot
of this
shit.
guy.
Well,
We'll see
Point-
if he
point
makes
being-
it.
I don't think there's much to really discuss
So,
on our
let's-
parts because we're all pretty much on the same page. Apart from
let's get to the actual video.
Okay.
Because so this guy Seth Simons, he dug up these videos. I guess he saved on his hard drive or something from way back, just in case.
or way back.
I don't know. It's one of these guys. Okay, so if you look at this guy's fucking, let's go to this guy's thing real quick. So this guy has 6,000 followers. Before this, he was absolutely no one. I just
And now he's got a
Oh,
check
just
mark.
wanna point that out.
hold on a second. Look at that. Look at that last pinned tweet. Please, in the name of all that is good and holy, unionize your comedy theater. The guy's a fucking competing comedian and just tried to throw him under the bus.
No. This is after. No, he's doing this.
That's an old pin tweet.
What he's saying.
No, I know, but I'm saying, okay, so he's trying to say,
No.
you don't think so?
No, he's not. No,
You sure?
No, this is after.
Google
He's saying,
Seth Simmons.
No, this is about the same. This is about the same thing. He's saying
All right.
unionize your comedy theater. Keep these assholes out of your theater.
Oh my god.
That's what he's trying to say. This is all he's been talking about.
what a
Oh.
douche.
This is all he's been talking about because
Hey.
this is now his life because this is what he blew up on. So anyway,
Hey, Seth Simmons.
see, look,
Fuck
then
you.
Gillis appears. What I'm saying is this. So this guy, this is all he's got. So this is where he's at now. So let's pause this real quick.
You're ashamed to the Seth name.
Damn, Chinatown's fucking nuts.
It's crazy, dude.
It is full fucking
Talking about Chinatown.
It's a
Yeah.
fucking Chinese down there.
I wonder how that started. They just built one fucked up looking building, and people were like, "All right, no one said anything.
Let
Let's."
the fucking chinks live there, huh?
So,
Well, they built
says
this fucking like
Chinks.
huge Shanghai house. The first one must
Yeah.
have infuriated
casual.
everyone.
I'm,
I'm like,
I'm pissed
what
now.
the
I go
fuck?
down there. I'm like, what are you guys doing here? Get these ducks out of that window.
He's a
you know
funny
what?
looking
Yeah,
fucker.
true. Also, I'm always like, how can there be so many fucking restaurants down here?
It looked like
Oh,
they
that's
both
what
chew
this-
You go in,
heavily.
there's like
Yeah.
one person eating
Fat
ever.
white idiots like me are down there
True.
sucking down neuters.
I hate China. I hate the food at Chinatown. Sucks.
I like
Chinese food's a very dishonest cuisine.
I don't even want to think about it.
They invented a fucking chemical to put in their food to make it delicious, dude.
It is.
They made it as MSG.
Good for them.
It's a dishonest food, dude. There's nothing. There's
dishonorable.
nothing to it. It's shitty
very
meat.
honorable.
Shitty meat. A chemical they made up to fuck your body up, and neuters.
The neuters are fucking
Cheapest thing in the world.
We got
Chemical.
Sick.
Worst meat you can find.
We got in there and we sat down, and baby girl was like, "I'm so excited for neuters," and I was like, "Yo, chill." She was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry."
She said neuters.
Yeah. And there's a fucking and it's full fucking Chinese in there. It's like and it's such a
Wasn't that?
weird-
Isn't that kind of like nice though? Isn't that being when people go into like a Mexican restaurant, like I'll have 2 tacos. Like I'll have a bowl of spicy neuters.
But we had
Dude, it literally took me a second to realize, like, oh, they're making fun of the way they say noodles.
Yeah.
I was like, neuters?
Well, that's why they put number for like 57.
Yeah, this one, even with the fucking shit, I was
Yeah.
pointing. I was like, "That sauce, that." She's like, "Yes." I was like, "Yeah, that one." She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "I might." Maybe
It is a weird topic to be discussing on a podcast. I don't. This doesn't necessarily like looking and listening to this conversation.
No medium.
It
It's-
looks like they're
it's-
talking seriously on something, not necessarily.
It
it's not
appears
like
like
a
they're
comedy
just
sketch.
being racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to actually save that clip for last because now it's like it kind of puts everything into a little bit of different perspective. But I can tell that they're joking.
I can tell they're
It's
joking,
just-
and it made me laugh. But it sounds.
It did not make me laugh at all.
It made me laugh. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
don't find it funny.
The
at all.
riff,
see the
the riff
humor
they
in it,
decided
but
to
it didn't
go
make
off
me laugh.
on. Well, it's just like one of them picked Chinatown, and then they started going off on just
Yeah, and
a
the
only
really
part that-
weird tangent.
And it's a very stale.
What made me laugh was literally only just because I could relate to the whole "oh shut up, don't say that."
Yeah,
like
I think if anything,
that
yeah.
was what I was like. Oh, that's relatable.
But I think a lot of people are interpreting that as, oh, he's racist and he doesn't want people to know he's racist.
Yeah.
But
I think I'd have to hear
Everyone's
more
had
of the
a
podcast.
kids
Yeah,
or
no,
a family.
Not
member
this
do
one
something
specifically,
like that.
but I would have to
Yeah.
see like if that's sort of a common theme in their podcast where they sort of deadpan talk about things that they know would get people's attention in a way that it sounds racy.
from what I understand, that is how a lot of the podcast was, and that's why he basically took down the entire podcast.
They just talked a bunch of shit about okay.
So-
and that's context that is a
and
little different.
It's comedy. It's not my kind of comedy. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. It doesn't really make me laugh. But
Well, if you didn't know what they were going for, that's some alt right.
sounds-
That's some alt right
Yeah.
comedy right
and it's
there.
like,
Yeah.
all right, and that's the thing, though. But that is one of But it's like Cat Williams. Like, I don't fucking find Cat Williams funny at all. I can't understand why he's funny at all.
Because he's tiny.
He has a high pitched voice. I don't get it.
I think
but
that's it,
I
to
get
be
that
perfectly
it's-
honest.
I get that it's comedy, and and I'm not saying he's never made me laugh.
Well, he's a
He
very
has some
like
funny
active,
jokes. Yeah.
diminutive man. Like you see a little like midget running around on stage screaming things, basically.
You can never be on SNL.
Yeah.
So,
Me and David still got that shot. Seth Carlson.
So, yeah. That's kind of basically it, I think. Let's see, do we got any? That's basically it. We got on.
All right, now speaking of Trump,
Yeah, if you look at SNL real quick, we'll go to their Twitter, and it goes way back. There's just no mention of it at all. So they still have yet to actually have said anything about this. And
Just typical.
yeah, no, they're getting with their PR department and figuring out what's the best move. And I'm assuming he's gonna get fired. But
Oh, probably.
that's almost guaranteed.
But this controversy has done nothing but good for him. Now a lot more
Publicity-wide,
people
yeah.
know who he is.
A lot of alt-right are going to be watching that podcast.
So anyway,
You know what that reminded me of just now? Well, it might not be appropriate to say. Never mind.
well, depends on if you want to be on SNL or not.
Well, no, that clip that was just playing a second ago. I don't know if you've watched Idiocracy recently. I don't remember her name, but
I've
she looked
watched it enough times to probably be able.
she looked pretty hot in there. I don't. She's much older now, but go back down. I can't remember her name.
Well, now I gotta
She
go to-
looks
Oh, it is.
like African American mix. I can't think of
Oh
her.
yeah, Rita Jones.
Yes,
right?
in that movie,
Oh yeah, she was.
she
hot.
was banging.
Yeah. That was like. Oh yeah, I thought so as well.
yeah. Because I watched it like a week ago, and I was like, damn.
Is
For
that
sure.
inappropriate to say?
Maybe.
Just to say that she was attractive? She's still not.
Well, she's
ugly. She's doing a whole character.
Right.
This is a whole get up.
well. I didn't put two and two together
she's-
just because like when she was doing her SNL stuff, she was like she's older.
She's what, in her 40s?
40s,
Late
I think now.
So,
But I mean, back Idiocracy
Yeah.
movie, she's I don't
in her
know.
30s. Yeah. So no, I mean, anyway. We digress. Let's move on. What are you going to say about Trump?
Speaking of Trump,
Where are we?
speaking of Trump, there have been now 6 confirmed deaths due with a direct link to vaping.
The suspected link to
No,
vaping.
direct link.
They expect it.
Direct link
What
to
specific
vaping.
chemicals that are found in vaping juice?
And now, the White House is looking at some bills. These bills might say, no more flavors in your little vape juice.
I'm just
Damn.
a bill.
Oh, and then one direct death due to a faulty cartridge bought off eBay.
So what's going on here? What are you talking about?
People are dying because they're vaping. They want to be trains and then they die.
But what's the legislation? So what?
There's been some talks of bills getting written on getting rid of, making it basically illegal federally to have fruity candy, basically children, quote unquote, children flavors in tobacco juices. Not all tobacco products.
Basically, what they want to do is limit it to just being tobacco flavor vape.
Basically, your most basic vape juice.
So, I did bring up a couple articles on this.
I don't know that your most basic vape juice would actually do anything, Neo.
You know what? I'm not into vape culture. I'm not a train.
From my understanding, though, is the big, spectacle around the entire thing is based on a kid died from respiratory issues, and he vaped. But there's not a direct link.
There's another one. I've read articles. I don't have them on me. There's one that's a big one because one is because of a direct link because of a THC pod basically was sent basically from China that killed somebody 2 days ago.
So there's another thing that I heard on a podcast I listened to. I can't say that this is a legitimate source, but that there's a lot of black market.
They're mass produced in China, and what happens
THC
is
products that are cut with other chemicals.
I'm not surprised.
But what the idea is because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but in my mind, THC is absolutely harmless as far as just the chemical compound itself.
Yeah,
THC.
your body naturally produces THC. We have a natural THC level that
we have receptors
that are designed to receive THC. It's not a harm to the human body.
But the
cannabinoids are another natural occurring thing in the human body.
But there's a lot of black market products out there right now that are THC vape pens, basically, and they're basically like Juul knockoffs, and
they're knockoffs in the sense that they follow the similar design, but they're not trying to fill the same market or anything like that.
The idea is that these could be the main
attractant.
They could be like the
more appealing. I don't know.
No. The culprit of the deaths.
One is because of a faulty cartridge that was a copy of an exact copy, even labeled on the box to be. I can't remember the brand. The guy ordered it straight from Amazon. I don't think it was Amazon. Ordered it from whatever retailer.
It's Amazon.
It was Amazon.
Fuck Jeff Bezos.
Oh, okay.
It was Amazon.
It was
That's
Amazon
now.
Whatever retailer he used.
I don't know.
Whatever retailer he used, online retailer, he suspected it was reputable. Clearly, he got sent. Amazon. He got sent a Chinese knockoff, and
it's Alibaba.
The cartridge. I think it exploded and killed him.
Oh, it exploded.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a mechanical failure.
Oh, yeah. The vape.
Well, that's all different.
Yeah,
that's not a vaping.
You get vaping mechanical deaths all the time from batteries exploding in people's faces.
Yeah,
because they load up their mod wattage way too high.
Seth. So while Seth is doing that,
everyone's RDA is trying to pump max wattage through them.
One day ago, people are dying.
So
the THC industry is actually calling for more federal federal regulation. They are actually wanting one. They obviously
what
want
is the THC industry nowadays? Doesn't mean jack shit to me because
marijuana
THC
growers.
But it's not federally.
They
Okay,
want
so-
it. They're pushing for federal legalization, so there
Yeah.
could be more federal
Are you
regulation.
kidding me? I have to fucking. What is this bullshit? Oh my god, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I don't read the news anymore. I'm like, I'm not creating an account on your
Well,
shitty
I'll just
newspaper.
turn off my goddamn ad blocker. What the fuck? So anyway,
It's part of the reason I think Wall Street Journal's like that too. So I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not reading your paper because I'm not logging into your site.
National outbreak of severe respiratory illnesses linked to vaping,
Hold on.
nicotine,
Hold
and
on.
marijuana.
hold on.
The Center for Disease Control said Thursday that there are 380 confirmed and probable cases, and 6 people have died. No single substance or product has been pinpointed, but the leading suspected cause is chemical exposure.
Well, I think the other problem is that
So
when it came to smoking, people would have to go outside and smoke a cigarette or take a break, and it'd be like a cigarette at a time. You wouldn't just sit there and puff on it all day necessarily. And with vaping, everybody thinks, oh, well, this isn't smoke, so I can just puff on this thing like a chimney, and it's not going to do anything.
yeah,
I'm gonna
that
blow
is
my O's.
That is a big thing. Okay, so hold on. I want to point something out real quick. Oh, it just disappeared. There was a Carl's Jr. ad down here. I never get Carl's Jr. ads. What the fuck? Now that we're on here talking about Carl's Jr., they're like, we're going to sneak in a Carl's Jr. ad. And then as soon as he tries to show it on stream, ha! Mattresses! Did you guys see it?
I did not see it.
There was a Carl's Jr. ad down here. Hopefully it'll pop back up.
You liar.
I swear. I wish. Oh my god, I have no proof. So,
Why are you
Vaping-
looking up mattresses, though?
vaping could be snuffed out in California if these bills become law in 2019. So, excuse me. California lawmakers on both left and right are working up plans to restrict vaping in the coming year, citing their worries that flavored tobacco and e-cigarettes entices too many young people to take up a potentially harmful habit. So basically, they want to outlaw the flavors.
big tobacco.
How
is
are
saying
kids getting
fuck
these-
vaping.
Well, so
Vape pens.
Yeah,
new
this
California vaping bill is a ruse for protecting big tobacco health groups say.
Yeah, it is 100%.
Trying
Yeah.
to push them back to cigarettes or
Well,
what?
no, here's the
Yes.
thing. If the only flavor you can get is tobacco, why is it better than smoking now?
Yeah.
The main appeal of vaping is you can get
Different
any
flavors.
flavor.
You don't stink.
That's
Yeah.
the main appeal to kids, at least.
Oh, I would-
Jewel is literally running an ad right now on the radio that says, it sounds like a quit smoking ad. Like this lady had, I had been a pack a day smoker for 30 years. And then
Jewel?
that all changed. And people would just look at you because they could smell you. And then I switched to Jewel.
No, but Jewel actually cut all their flavors already.
Well, I'm just saying this
Well,
is.
from storefronts, you have to buy them all on their website now.
Oh, you can buy flavors on their website?
Yeah,
you can prove how old you are.
Yeah,
I don't
to
believe
prove-
so.
Yeah,
From
and
what
the
I
only flavors
understood.
that they're only allowing on the market is tobacco or cool mint.
We're gonna find out right now because tobacco or cool mint
Yeah.
on their website or on
No,
on the storefront.
storefront.
yes.
Nosier in California.
So how do we buy reefer?
Jewel?
You can buy
Reefers?
reefer.
Shop on the next to Jewel, that line there, all the way to your right.
Okay, there we go. Shop. Okay, thank you, Josh.
It's a drop down, and you click the drop
God
down.
damn it, these kids.
Fucking idiot.
Jewel starter
Use
kit,
it.
because that's what we're gonna look at, right? Jewel starter kit.
Yeah, see, look on the side. It comes with all the flavors right there. See,
Yep, you can still
What?
buy
That's
flavors.
just colors.
those
Yeah.
are the flavors.
How do I know that?
Blue flavor, red flavor.
Isn't that how
Green
you buy your
flavor?
Gatorade?
Okay, there we go.
That's
You're
how
going
I
green.
buy Gatorade.
There you go.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but that doesn't mean that it's not just a style
I
choice.
buy light blue
This
Gatorade.
could just be a style choice. If
I
you
know.
go on Amazon,
I know we're fucking with you.
if you go on Amazon and you want to buy anything, not anything, but certain products, you can just choose a color. That doesn't mean that
What's
it has anything
Amazon?
to do with. I don't know. So anyway, it is flavors. I just, from what I had heard, Juul cut all of their flavors except
From
for
storefronts.
menthol and tobacco.
See, I always thought
Okay.
I always thought of vaping as I don't want to say miracle, but a good way for people who want to stop.
It's
Well,
a tool
that's-
to quit.
because-
That's how I
yeah.
always saw it.
Because you can cut the nicotine levels down.
I did it for
Easily.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I used to advertise for Blue and basically just get free Blue e-cigarettes.
Did
For
and
it.
you just blew through all of it?
Hey,
Yeah. So yeah, but it is. It's. I mean, and it didn't actually help me quit. I went right back to cigarettes. But
oh, Ty found that funny.
oh no, that was a long time ago.
Oh, damn.
That was one of my jokes.
No, it wasn't.
That was. I saw it come up.
It's like
Well,
that
you
was
didn't
my
say-
joke. Why are
She's
you?
also high on fucking
because it wasn't one of his
dentist drugs.
jokes.
Why aren't you agreeing with me?
So
I get that a lot from Tony
what's that?
because I'm his main supporter. Wait, why?
Wait, why? What?
No.
I'm so lost now.
Whenever we're into a topic and I'm not 100% backing you, it was like what happened with Josh earlier. Why are you agreeing with him?
Agreeing with the fucking Republicans.
What?
Why are you agreeing with?
Are you assuming my political?
Why are you
stance?
agreeing with the bigots?
Because I love the
My
bigots.
God.
Oh shit! I can't be
No.
on SNL.
Last week I was saying why are you agreeing with the libtards? So
Wow. Libtards? I'm offended.
you should be with that statement
Directed at.
exists at all. So yeah, I can't read that. Can you guys read that?
Read what?
Ty's comment.
Oh.
Said I found that funny too.
Not as funny as mine, but it's okay. So anyway, I think so. I don't know. I think that vaping is better than smoking.
I think it should
And I
be
do
regulated and studied. I
I do
don't
think
think
that-
it should. They should ban it.
I think that tobacco lobbyists are the one that
It's 100%
and I don't
tobacco
think
lobbyist.
I don't think the flavors are that big of a deal.
They are when it comes to kids. Because
Whatever, Dad.
when it came to smoking, it was like a kid gets a cigarette and they're like they think it looks cool, but it still fucking tastes disgusting, right? And
So adults shouldn't get to have sweet flavors either.
no, there should just be there should be some sort of consequence for kids getting their hands on them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when I was a kid,
You know what the consequence was?
my first cigarette was when I was
Getting
14.
smoked out, yeah. That's why I don't smoke.
I had my first cigarette when I was 14, and it obviously was fucking disgusting.
Right?
But actually, it was a black and mild.
Actually,
Black and
I
milds are
kind of
not
understand
bad.
his point.
It was still disgusting.
My
because I was
first
fucking
experience with-
14, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
My
But
first-
I was like, I want to be cool.
My first
yeah.
experience with tobacco, I was like 13, 14.
Yeah.
It was a Swisher Sweet. It was a grape Swisher Sweet.
Ugh.
No, that was great as a kid.
Really?
I had no problem with it.
Really?
And I just kept wanting to get more.
Even though it was tobacco?
Yeah. It didn't I
I had a
the
black
smoke-
and mild, and it was disgusting.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just a fan
But
of Swishers. I
my-
don't know.
My
but-
whole point, though, is that when you're a kid, you can still get your hands on
Oh yeah, of course you can.
cigarettes.
And
It's not like-
there's repercussions for
and
that.
you can get...
There are repercussions for kids having jewels
What
too.
are the
Is
what
there?
are
I don't
the
know.
repercussions for...
It's the same as it's currently it's the same nicotine laws. If you're buying for a minor, it's the same punishment. If you're a parent of a minor with nicotine in their possession, it's the same punishment. At least here in California.
My point though is that kids are going to get their hands on it somehow, either way.
Oh yeah, they don't give a
Whether
shit.
it's vaping, whether it's tobacco, actual tobacco, they're going to get their hands on it. Kids are going to get their hands on alcohol somehow. There's just
Lock your
no.
liquor cabinets, Tony.
I'm not having kids, Josh. Lock your liquor cabinets.
I do.
We know that you're the liquor guy too. Anywho, oh yeah, the kids are still gonna be smoking or vaping or whatever. It's probably better off. It's probably better off that they're vaping than smoking.
Well,
Not that-
it depends, because the other part of it is that I think it is a bit of danger for kids, because, you know, maybe they just stick with regular vaping and maybe that's fine. But if they start like building their own stuff or buying stuff overseas that they haven't vetted because that's the only way they can get their hands on it, and then they end up with, you know,
But
a mix of
there's
shit that kills them.
There's also vapes that have no nicotine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You can buy juice with no nicotine.
So is the sweet flavor, is that addictive?
The sweet flavor. Well, okay,
It
I don't know if
needs
you've
nice.
tried.
I will say that by the time I was 16, I was addicted to nicotine.
That's the thing. Try the
And
difference between a 0 and a 3.
It tasted gross
It's
at that
fucking
point.
huge.
It was
Yes.
amazing.
The difference between a 0 and a 3.
I don't know what that
Like
means.
the
level of
milligram.
nicotine.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
man.
a
And
zero.
then vape
A
or
0
what?
is just like
Okay.
delicious puff of smoke, and whereas a 3, it's like.
Fuck, that's harsh. Like
yeah,
you
it's
can.
like a
And
harsh-
so it's
it
like,
burns. It
If you
burns.
have the flavor on there, it masks
the burn.
the
like
yes.
it's like menthol, it's like you're chewing like mint gum.
Mm.
You know, like you don't really feel it.
Oh, I had plant burger in my teeth.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
You need to just carry flossers on.
I
you.
do, dude.
What the fuck? You need a whole little pocket pack of flossers. So, I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to?
On vaping?
Yeah.
I think there's plenty to be said.
What do you think the actual laws should be?
Well, I mean,
Let's
I keep
go over
seeing
that real
like
quick.
a lot of them.
What should the actual laws or repercussions or whatever you want to call it? What should
The
they be?
same as tobacco, but I mean, I think it jumped on the scene so quickly, and I don't know. Like, I don't necessarily think it needs to go through like full like clinical trials necessarily, but it does need some sort of regulation. I don't know how much regulation it had. I remember initially when vaping first blew up.
People were vaping inside. People were vaping everywhere. Like not just in their homes.
Oh yeah,
They were vaping in restaurants. Cause
that was one of the main appeals. Is that
Yeah.
oh, this just smells like fruit
yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
But I don't think there was any like intensive testing being done on it or prolonged
No.
exposure tests, you know, that sort of thing. I imagine there needs to be some more
I
of that.
actually
And the
was listening
government
to
needs to do that.
like a 5-year-old, maybe 4 or 5-year-old Joe Rogan podcast with Trevor Moore, who's like one of the lead creators of Whitest Kids You Know. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but
I don't know any white kids
he
except
was
for you.
he was he was
You
like
live in the
he was
Dale.
like vaping incessantly, and he was like, oh yeah, like
You live in Bakersfield.
he was like, oh they
Fucker.
never you know, like it's gonna be 20 years before they're like, oh yeah, this is awful for you. He's like, it's always like 20 years. Like something comes out and then there's like it's like a 20-year period, and then they're like, oh yeah.
I don't
this is
think
awful.
in 20 years we're gonna find that vaping was worse than tobacco.
No, but there'll be a lot more extensive research on
Popcorn lungs.
what,
already a
what
pretty
about it
big
is.
issue.
Yeah, but I
Has
don't. Do we know that that's directly? I don't know that. I don't think there's been the actual studies to say that
Is a direct link.
is a direct
Yeah.
link. I think that needs to be done. Do you,
I feel
But
like
that's
should
the
we
thing.
should we cut it off
But
until
that's
the
the thing.
until it's
We're like
investigated
what,
or
like maybe 7 years into this, like actual since the inception of. I mean, it's been more than 7 years since
I was gonna say no vapes have existed
So,
for a lot.
when
longer
I was
than that.
17. That's when I started actually doing the
Hard drugs?
advertisements for blue cigarettes,
Uh-huh.
for the blue e-cigarettes.
I always felt like the ones that were produced by the tobacco companies were just like
Which is-
way harsher.
What's crazy is like back then I was 17, right? And I was doing online advertising for Blue.
Okay.
And they just were like, "Are you 18?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they would send me these, and they're like, "It's not. There's there's no laws around it, so they're just like,
Yeah,
I could have been 14 for all I know.
it was the Wild West of vaping.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of crazy, but anyway. So on that podcast, though, Trevor Moore was talking about basically 20 years from now is when they're going to be like, oh, these are the repercussions of vaping, like, and then there will probably be more after that. But then at that point, there will have been a lot of studies done. There will be a lot of science behind it.
Yeah.
But even right now, we're like 10 plus years into it, and it's like we know there's some bad effects of it, but we don't know what exactly.
Well, I have to imagine. I mean, even if you go to the base claim with it being safe, saying it's a vapor, it's a water vapor. I can't imagine like always having a high liquid concentration in your lungs is good for you.
But the idea is that
it's better than smoke and the tar and stuff that's in smoke. But
also the liquid doesn't stay in your lungs; you breathe it back out. Mostly,
some of that's what I'm saying. Though every time you take a breath, there's only a percentage that comes back out.
It's not the liquid that stays in your lungs; it's the other shit. Which, I mean, I'm not saying is any better or any worse. Yeah. But you're not getting pneumonia because you just vape.
I think you could. If you vape too much, I bet it could make you.
If you were continually holding it in, that would probably be really bad, because then you're like letting it condense back down into an actual liquid.
Yeah, but when you see these people with these like giant RDA builds that want those like because the big smoke.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not. Yeah, no, yeah, I'm not saying that. There's, no, and that's probably where popcorn lung is actually coming from.
Possibly, we don't know.
Probably
because nobody investigate this shit.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say probably.
It's possible.
I think it's very probable
that having too much of that shit in there for too long. Yeah, I could see that.
So anyway,
would you say that's a simulation?
Yes.
I'm doing those smooth transitions for you, Tony.
Are we gonna do that one?
Do you guys want to?
Oh shit, MDS is the same color as I couldn't even tell.
It could be relatively quick. I don't know how much you guys are actually going to talk about it.
Honestly, there's not a lot to talk about. I was thinking about it earlier and I was like, there's not really that much, so let's go ahead and do it. Let's just knock it out. I'll order another beer from the bar.
Can I buy
and a water too, please?
This one I'm not too.
No, you'll like it. It's pretty. There's not a lot to
listen.
You'll form an opinion based on it.
Okay. Well, actually, and I can direct this at you, and you can kind of step through it to see if it makes a logical sense to you. Okay. So you know how we're getting, you're
an NPC.
We're getting really in depth with the VR. Do you think it's possible that we would get to a point where we could create a simulation where you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between real life and the simulation? Just technologically, do you think we would reach that point?
Oh, to where it's like completely indistinguishable?
Where you wouldn't... I mean, we're not there yet, obviously, but...
on your VR headset, you put on your Ready Player One bodysuit.
Hey, that shit's awesome.
And you dive into your fucking...
I'd buy that.
I think at some point, we would...
Okay.
Then we're there.
So
your tank.
If you believe that we can reach that...
Then we're there.
Then there's an extremely high possibility that you are in a simulation right now.
Already.
It's more likely.
That you're already in it. It's more likely than not.
Hey, get some body hand. Thank you.
It is more likely that we are in the simulation if you buy into the thought that it's physically possible.
Well, here's the way it was explained to me. The idea is that there's one of three main possibilities. There's either we're going to destroy ourselves and we're never going to get to that point. We will eventually get to that point, but for whatever reason, we decide that a bunch of simulations aren't worth doing. That we don't need to do it and we don't pursue it. But then there's the third possibility where we reach that point technologically and we create a fuck ton of simulations that all run concurrently. So the idea is if that third case is true,
is the most likely because why not? Is kind of the
way humans think. Then So if that third thing is true and we create, say, a bunch of concurrent simulations, the possibility of you being in the one reality that just hasn't gotten there yet is extraordinarily low. Because if we're running a bunch of other simulations and you can't distinguish that you're in a simulation, odds are you are in a simulation.
Just based off of
Probability.
So eventually,
Yeah.
if we're gonna make simulations that are as real as our reality, we're probably already in one.
And it's not necessarily even like a Matrix type situation. The idea also is that we could all be individual simulations within the simulation. We could be the simulation of a person and the way a person experiences the world around them. So,
Well, if you think about like things like physics and stuff, there's these very finite rules that we can like play with, basically.
I like that. I like the fun stuff, not physics. Get away from that.
Well, all I'm saying is though, with physics, with chemistry, with basically any science, there are a very strict set of rules that we are allowed to interpret in whichever way we can. And obviously there's things that we still have yet to discover, but a lot of it is pretty it's pretty set in stone. So that's, if you want to think about it as like a program or a simulation, that would be like our code.
Yeah.
These are the limits of our code. And that's kind of like that's something that gets brought up too.
well, the other thing is it kind of in part explains why we're the only existence that we perceive, that we haven't come across anything else. Because if you think about it, like, imagine playing Skyrim, if you
that's
look
the
off in the
fun stuff.
distance, you see a mountain, right? But you don't
can't
see the
really-
little detail on the mountain because you're not within the render limit. So that's why, outside of what we can necessarily perceive, we don't see a bunch of civilizations on other planets because that's beyond our limit
So-
within the simulation.
Let's all try as hard as we can to blow David.
I get what you guys are saying. I get the ideas behind it. So what's the talking point? Just that?
Just
What do you think about that?
I
I
mean,
don't
I
know,
think
because
it's
I think we've
interesting.
all been introduced to this before.
yeah.
I was introduced to it by you.
It's very like interesting to think about, and honestly, like I've even thought about it myself. I mean, the idea that like not like there's like concurrent like simulations, but this is like this current reality that we're experiencing isn't really like.
Well, that's where you get stuff
necessarily
like the
like
Mandela effect.
Yeah,
you
like
get
the-
deja vu. These are theories that support the simulation of
The simulation
theory.
idea,
What do you think? Do you think we're in a simulation? And why not? Why not?
I mean, you could argue that we are with like the current times and the way things are going and how absurd maybe you could argue. Like,
I mean, I feel like that has nothing to do with whether or not we're in a simulation.
I've heard differently from a lot of people that
yeah,
the level of absurdity that Donald Trump is president after fucking
that The Simpsons is predicting a
yeah,
large
that
majority
the
of world
Simpsons
events.
is pretty exactly.
But
That is, I've seen people
all
quote
of
that
that,
as.
all of that could be sheer coincidence.
Oh, I agree with you. I'm not saying
And-
it's proof. I'm just saying I've heard multiple people use that as proof, and it makes some sense.
Are you smarter than them? Or are
No.
We're the smartest in the world.
You're supposed to get them on the podcast. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, the idea is also, we're sitting here having this discussion, and each of us have our own idea of ourselves. But realistically, when I walk out of this room, do you guys even actually exist, or is it just your perception?
I was actually talking to Ty about this like a month or so ago about how, what is it called? There's a specific like kind of whole philosophy thing around this, but yeah, this is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know when we're all here in this room. I mean, we can hear Debbie and Heidi out there talking,
But that's because there's an audio.
but all there
stimuli.
is that audio stimuli. We don't even know that they're
There could
actually
be
out there.
there could be a white hole out there.
That's
They
the
might
same
not
idea as,
exist
like,
until we
Schrodinger's
open that
cat.
door.
I mean, that's that same idea,
Until the
though.
mystery hand, the bar hand,
it's
brings the
Schrodinger's
drinks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know.
Well, because the idea also is that if you believe in the possibility that we are in a simulation, does that change how you would live your life?
Yeah, please.
I mean, because now it's, there's no God or
to
devil or you're gonna die. Or
big brain.
If I could, so maybe I should just start living my life like I was in a simulation. Because if I did know I was in a simulation, I would take all the risks. I don't give a fuck.
you'd have kids.
No.
God,
What are you talking about?
Take
That's
all
not
the risk.
That's not taking a risk.
That is a huge risk.
How's that taking a risk? That's just purposely fucking your life up.
See,
There is.
I disagree because regardless of if we're in a simulation or not, we still have to respond to the physical stimuli. It still exists. Well, it's like those. So it's like those dreams where you get fucking knocked into consciousness.
But if you're in a simulation, that means you have more control of your life than you currently think.
What if we
You don't have like a knowing control of it.
Yeah.
And
Like
and if
yes,
we are
you
in-
control the things that you perceive around you and the way that you interact with
if
those
you're-
things, but it's not like
if
I
you're
can
in a-
force push you through the wall
But
right
if
now.
you're in a simulation, you
Cool.
can figure out the things that work and the things that don't work.
Which is what we have scientists
we
doing that right
are
now. Like
in a
that's physics.
So we are in a simulation.
If
I'm not talking about physically.
well, here's
I'm
the
talking
other
about-
thing though is everything, all of the scientists that exist outside this room, we assume, that are that are actually like studying physics and all the natural laws of the universe. They're actually understanding the formulas and the way things work. If there are set rules for everything, then and we cannot, go beyond those boundaries, then those boundaries would be set by the simulation,
Mhm.
and you can't.
And time travel would prove that the inability to time travel would almost certainly prove we're in a simulation, because that is a set rule.
The inability or the ability?
Yeah, the
The
inability.
inability.
If
But
you
but
cannot
if we
travel
could,
through time,
But if we could time travel, that wouldn't mean that we're not in a simulation.
I
so.
agree with you, but I'm just,
I mean, I don't know. I actually think we're edging closer to the ability to time travel, but
I don't think we'll ever get there.
Yeah,
You'd fucking
not in
destroy
our
the
life-
universe.
in our lifetimes, probably not.
No, you'd destroy the universe. Time paradox. Butterfly effect.
Time paradox doesn't mean shit.
Here's the thing. Okay,
have you seen Endgame?
listen. In the future, if somebody in the future decided to travel back to this time, and even like picked up this plate and slammed
How
it in
do
your
we know-
face,
how do
that
we-
would change
how
the
do we
way
know-
that you
how
reacted,
do we know
and your
that-
reactions would
How do we know that
affect the future.
several thousand years from now, people from then haven't already time traveled back to our time?
because it would have destroyed their future.
How do you know that?
They would have disappeared.
How do you know that?
It's a time.
What do you mean? How do I know that?
How do you know that?
You're
Because
you're following Back to the Future rules, and Back to
Yeah.
the Future rules suck.
It's not
Yeah.
Back to the Future rules. It's the idea. You've seen
It's-
Butterfly Effect, yes?
Yes,
Okay.
well,
it's a
that doesn't mean that it's going to destroy the whole universe.
no. I'm not saying it would destroy the universe. What would happen?
That's what you said earlier.
Okay, that is it. It would
That
it would
person's
destroy that version of existence.
That person's existence.
so that
would be
person,
different.
Okay,
because of
but
you
do
changing
you-
the
do you
past,
believe-
the ripples would change.
Okay,
That
but
person.
I already believe in the infinite dimension or the infinite
A
universe.
multiverse?
Yeah,
Okay,
the infinite universe theory.
yeah,
so-
multiple simulations running concurrently.
So there's already
That's the end game.
there's already
time
been
travel.
and there's already been time traveling since fucking beginning of our existence. If that's the case,
And I don't watch that game. I don't know what that. Are you thinking like Jet Li's the one, or
I'm thinking if every single thing that's possibly possible has happened in some version of
Reality.
a universe, then time travel already exists in some weird alternate universe that we could have no comprehension of.
Which universe am I, Batman?
Probably the farthest away from.
All right, I need to get to
well,
that one.
no, I mean one where you exist still.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Are you talking about like infinite possibilities with a concurrent existence? Just a different. It's a different
I mean,
dimension.
if you-
Like, are you
if
talking
you
about time
believe in-
and space?
If you believe in infinite universes, then yes. Yeah.
So there's a version of you that is not making this argument right now.
There's so many more versions of me not making this argument than are.
Potentially.
I think Hulk explained time
If it
travel the
exists.
best.
Well, no. Realistically, it'd be an equal amount because half of all existence, it's a 50-50 split whether or not you have this argument in that moment.
No, absolutely
You
not.
decided to or you decided not to.
Why would it be?
It would be one or the
50-50?
other.
No,
because Oh,
this
boy.
is one possibility that can happen
Yes.
out of infinite possibilities of what can happen.
No, not
at this moment. Yes.
At this moment.
I agree with Tony. We could be.
You're
having
saying
the
it's
same...
a 50-50
No, I'm
chance
saying your decision
that I could
to
or
hold
could
a
not be
position
doing this exact thing
would be one or the other in the moment.
But if it's
out of
left
all
flag
of
was
the
moved-
universes, not out of just this universe.
In the time moment, even if the time is fluid or whatever, your decision
Time is
to
not
hold
gender,
to hold
okay.
your decision to hold a position is binary. It's one way or the other. Either you decide the multiverse or you don't.
Why is it?
Because you'd have to
binary?
hold one or the other.
Why is it binary?
Do you?
Why not trinary?
Oh my god, quadnary.
What's the third choice?
I don't fucking know. What's the
That's
second
what I'm saying.
choice?
The second choice is you don't believe it. You do believe it or you don't believe it. That's two separate choices. So you have a 50-50 chance
in a binary
in a universe.
I can bust out the dice right now and I can show you. This is a binary option. 1 through 3. 1 through 3 is this. 4 through 6 is this option.
Right.
Or you can think.
And if
1,
you rolled
2,
that
1, 2,
an infinite number of times, it'd be 50-50.
No. Or you could think 1 and 2 is this. 3 and 4 is this. 5 and 6 is
Yes,
this.
because
Or
you've
you can think
changed the
1 is this,
foundation.
2 is this. 3 is this. 4 is this.
You've changed the foundation. You changed the foundation of your argument.
Me too.
So why is your
Loot
argument,
boxes
why
is gambling.
Why is your argument completely right? Why does it have to be binary?
Because existence.
Because you're
existence.
making a choice. A choice is one way or the other. Like you either choose you choose to do something or you choose not to do something.
Okay.
That's two. There's only two choices.
Or you choose not to choose. That's a choice also.
That's you choosing not to do it.
No, it's not. That's choosing you. That's you choosing.
You're choosing
not to, choose.
to do it or you're choosing not to.
No,
That's a separate choice.
No,
it's a separate choice.
It's a separate choice from choosing to or choosing not to. Yes, I agree. It's a separate choice.
Okay. Right.
So you can choose to, you can choose not to, or you can choose not to choose.
No, that's a separate choice.
Yeah.
Because you can choose to not to choose, or you can choose to choose. That's a separate choice.
Is anyone else like?
Huh?
Is anyone else on the same page as
All
me?
right. I think we're confusing everybody,
actually.
but no. Okay, flipping a coin, two choices, right?
What if it lands?
but you also but your argument is that you could choose not to flip the coin.
Yeah.
But your choice in that case is to flip the coin or not to flip the coin.
Yes,
two
but
choices.
That doesn't affect the existence of
the coin.
Yeah.
What?
No,
The
but
coin
it
still
does
exists where it's at.
Sure.
It does affect the outcome
There's
of
so
the
many-
coin in that specific point in time.
And
And
that-
if he
but-
decides
but
to flip
now
the
he's
coin,
limiting- but now
it's in movement.
But he's limiting it
to
to
just the two
But
actions.
Yes,
this
because
is- this can
everything is
happen or this can
binary.
happen.
Yeah, it's
But
like
you're thinking of it
you're
in
thinking
a
of the
very
first
simple
step.
way.
Yes,
Step
because I'm at the
rippling
foundation
after
here.
That so like then it branches off to that because like let's say he did do it then what
Okay.
are the
Right. Let's just
possibilities
say
if he were
it's
to
just
do it?
the choice of flipping the coin, right? Or
let's
that
say
he flipped the coin.
Let's say your binary thing is the only thing that exists. Let's go back to when I was 1 year old.
Okay.
And back when I was 1 year old, I made a choice, and then
Mhm.
that branched off into 2 choices. That branched off into 4 choices.
That's
that
still
branched-
infinite. But
Okay.
yes.
So where I'm at right now, I've made several jillion
Infinite other
choices.
choices.
Yes.
Jillion.
So there's a jillion other universes where everything is
Okay, so
could
at
be
this
very
point
different.
in time,
Yes.
there's several jillion different versions of me that have made that choice, and there's also before that I never existed in several hundred billion.
Yes.
And this
Okay,
is where
I'm following this.
And this is where
Zillion.
this is where time travel is possible because now you can go
So-
into those different.
So
like,
why would you
universes.
say it's binary? Why would you say that
Because you're dealing with infinity.
at this point in time
You're dealing with infinity. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, you're talking about flipping a coin. Okay.
And that's only
Everything
if
is
I accept your-
infinite,
if
right?
I accept
So
your version.
there is
of
an
it.
infinite version. There's an infinite number of you flipping a coin, right? Some of it in different times or whatever. If you flip that coin
I want to show you something.
and everything was flipping and there was still a 50-50 chance of it going one way or the other, it would end up being a 50-50 percentage because it could go either way.
Okay,
And in
what
some
if-
universes it goes one way and in some universes it goes the other.
But what
And
if
that's infinite.
But what if? Okay, so you're saying is we got this point, right? This
Sure.
is where we're at right now, and you can go this way, or you can go this way. You're on a singular line. You can only go those two ways.
In
But
that,
what if you could go this? What if you could go this way, or 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 any
Those-
fucking way?
those are all
We
separate
don't-
choices.
But those aren't
All
two-
separate
but
binary choices.
those
You
are
either
not binary
choosing
choices.
to go in whatever direction or you're choosing not to. Does that make,
What the fuck?
does
are
that
you
not make
talking
sense?
about? You're not even choosing at that point.
That's all. That's the choice.
No,
that's the
binary
binary
means-
choice to choose or not to
Binary
choose.
means 1 or 0.
To be or not
Yes,
to be.
that's
This
your
is
two.
this is an infinite. This is you're at this point and you can go in 3 dimensions or 4 dimensions or fucking 10 dimensions.
Each of those is its own choice of doing it or not doing it.
What are you talking about? No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
How is that?
How does that have to
Having
do
this
simulation theory?
conversation.
God.
I'm so fucking lost.
Are you? Okay.
What do we think the simulation would be used for?
Oh, the simulation. In my mind, if we decided to kick off the simulation, I would have to imagine it would be to forecast future outcomes.
If we made it. So, okay, that makes sense.
in my
but-
mind, it's the simulation is to forecast.
But what
future
about
outcomes.
what about the simulation we're in? What would that be used for? To forecast whatever made us?
No. My thought would be if we got to a point
Why?
where we created a simulation, it would be to either, if time travel was a thing, figure out where we could go back to not fuck up whatever the future is, or it would be, what version of choices should we make from this point on that were influenced by
Definitely not
things
binary.
by things by choice by binary choices we made in the past. What do we need to do to change a future outcome? I think it would be future prediction, or if time travel was a thing, where we could go in the past to change outcomes.
I think it's boredom.
I
You think we just do it just because we could do it?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
truly
yeah.
believe we would
No,
do
yeah,
it just
I-
because we could.
Well,
Well, think about what we already do just because we
agreed.
can.
Agreed. I need to pee really bad, but I definitely am on track with Seth's thought process here. I'll be right back.
I don't know. It could be like an AI type thing where we create
We might
the
not
future
even-
intelligence,
well,
and it's
we
not
might
us
not-
doing the
Well,
simulation.
exactly.
It's-
We might not even be a human consciousness right now. What I perceive, I could easily be an AI consciousness.
Right. That was one of my points.
Like I might be perceiving, but I might just be in a super advanced AI. But like what Tony was saying with, if I find out it's simulation theory, I'm just going to do whatever. No, I still have to exist in this reality.
You're just
You
aware
still have
of
the
it.
rules to
Yeah.
follow.
You're
You're
just
just
aware
aware
of
of
it.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like as if an NPC in Skyrim just started saying, "I know I'm an NPC." Hey, I know I'm an NPC, but you still have to engage with it and give it quests. It's the
Yeah.
same ideals.
Yeah.
No, just like no, I still have physical limitation. I still physically feel, regardless of what my consciousness truly is.
Well, and you'd have to assume that there's at least some sort of weight in your existence to yourself.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah,
if-
no. Well, whether or not I'm a human consciousness or an AI consciousness has no difference to me in in any reality.
Well, that's sort of the overarching question as far as simulation theory is that, even if you are in a simulation, how would that knowledge that you are in a simulation and that your existence is a part of that simulation change your perception on the way you live?
Yeah, for me, it wouldn't. I don't think it would change anything other
No.
than okay. Well, there's a clear path going forward from here for somebody.
Mm.
Probably not me. Probably not me in particular. I'm not gonna lie. There's some. that actually kind of brings in kind of like ideas of God and whatnot, because
Yeah.
oh, okay, so there is some sort of creation, there is some sort of plan, there is something going on, and that would almost validate some sort of existence.
Possibly. I mean, that's some of the questions that simulation theory raises. I mean, that does, even if we are in a simulation, that does define the idea that there is maybe not a sole creator, but something that created what we're existing in.
Yeah.
So, how long do you guys think that simulation theory could have even existed for? Because
Since
we couldn't have thought about simulation, us being a simulation, until we've created some type of simulation that we could,
not necessarily.
yeah, that we could equate to ourselves.
Novels are a simulation.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
They're not a simulation.
Well, no, they are.
no,
You're
they're
not-
just a story.
That's true.
Even
What about Deadpool comics? He knows he exists as a
that's
comic
not
book.
a simulation. It's not a simulation.
What if he actually exists and that's just a window to
No, well, what a
Deadpool's-
simulation is putting some sort of not like organism, but putting some sort of subject into
It's experimentation.
It's an
But it's not
experimentation
just-
with set rules.
but not just set rules. It's putting a subject into an environment where set rules can happen.
That rules and parameters.
Yeah. That's a simulation, essentially. I can look up the actual definition.
I was gonna say that sounds like a
Oh, wow,
virtualization,
we've been on this. Guys, been on that for a while. Whatever this vaping thing.
Oh.
My bad. we got so involved in.
So you had the choice to switch it back. No, I'm just kidding.
That's a binary. Just the new meme.
I didn't even have.
See, there's a version of this reality where you already switched it back and didn't make that mistake.
And there's several
And there's
million
also a version
versions where
Tony's making Josh's claim. And
There's
Josh
several
making
million
Tony's
There it
claim.
is. Oh shit!
there's several million versions where I just committed suicide
Or
So-
kill all of us.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say there's several million versions.
I wouldn't even
where
say
they're
several
a
million.
bomb dropped.
See that's where things get weird talking about infinity. Because if you're talking about a multiverse, it's an infinite number of universes. So for every choice that you make,
several
there-
infinite versions where
so there's
infinite pathways.
there's
off
you
of every-
killed yourself or you
Several
didn't kill
infinite.
yourself. So it's this much. It gets weird when you're talking about infinity. That's where my conversation comes into play. Like if you flip a coin an infinite number of times,
But
it's
you're
going to be
thinking about it
50-50.
just as a coin. What if
No,
you
no,
roll
anything.
what if you roll a d4 and then each four sides is a different possibility?
Your outcomes are infinite. You have an equal number of
Okay,
odds.
so it's not binary. It's not flipping
Your
the
choice
coin.
your choice to roll the d4 is the binary choice,
The
Not
initial
the
choice.
odds.
The initial.
not the
What do you
outcome of the
mean?
die.
That
because you
happens
chose-
regardless of whether you choose or not. That
No, it
always
doesn't.
happens. Yes, it does.
If you don't roll the die,
If
you're
you
not going to have an
believe-
outcome.
If you believe in, what are you talking about? If I go through life not choosing to do anything, everything still happens.
Yes, but not the die roll.
But not the impact of
The
your
die
choice.
roll
Not the
still
impact of your
happens.
choices.
What
No,
are
it
you
doesn't
talking-
because you didn't
Yes,
roll
it
it. You
does.
chose not to
The
roll it.
DM just rolls all the dice. What are you talking about? What do you mean it doesn't happen? It still happens.
The
All
choice is you rolling the die.
No, it is not. What are you talking about?
You just said
Are you
if I
insane?
choose to roll a d6, there's an equal number of infinite
Yeah.
possibility that you're going to have an
Are
outcome.
you talking about
But the choice
me
is you rolling
Are you talking
the die.
about me literally rolling
yes.
Yes.
Because I'm talking about. You're talking about every time anything happens, it's
No.
one of two
No,
things happening.
I'm talking about the choice is binary.
I'm not talking about
not
the choice.
the outcome.
I'm talking about
The outcome is going
No.
to be equal.
I'm not talking about the choice. I'm talking
I'm
about
talking about the choice.
reality.
Oh my God, that's
What do you?
that's
What do you?
That's
what are you talking
Not, not everything, Josh. Not everything is your choice. You are
Well,
not in
he
control
knows
of
that.
everything.
He knows that.
No, I'm in control of my choices.
Okay.
My choices are a binary choice.
Okay. That's not.
That's my
That's his
point.
point.
But that
That's
doesn't
his point.
create everything that ever happened in the universe. You're.
It has an impact on everything since I existed and decided to make choices from then on.
Even if you make certain yes or no choices,
Yes.
that doesn't mean those are going to be the only outcomes from what choices you made.
He knows. He's not saying that. He's just saying his ability to choose.
But he's
does
denying that what I'm saying is the truth. So how is he
What
not
are you
saying?
talking
How is he
about?
saying that?
He hasn't denied what
Tony's
you
the
said is the
crazy
What
truth.
do you mean? He's been arguing with me about this all night.
What he's
I
been
mean,
sa-
since
what
for
he's
the
been
last
what he's
20
been
minutes.
what he's been saying is the results aren't what's important.
It's
It's the choice to make. If say I decided to open up this water bottle and throw it all over you guys, the outcome is y'all are wet. If I choose not to do that, the outcome is y'all are not wet. However, a fucking roof can blow off and you can all still get wet. That's not affected by my choice on whether or not to do this, but that is still a possibility. Are you kind of following what I'm trying to say? What
I don't
Josh
get
is
why
trying to say.
that. I don't get why that has anything to do with
Well,
what we
because
were
the-
talking about.
It kind of doesn't, but it does because
It doesn't at all.
No, what he was
Because
saying.
what he was saying was everything that happens branches off one way or one other way, and that's everything.
That's
no. That you didn't.
for time travel and the butterfly effect. It does. That's how he perceives it. If I make a choice, it affects what's around me. Period.
Okay.
Whether or not I choose to, or whether or not I choose not to, affects the outcomes of what surrounds
Yeah,
binary
but
choice.
you can't choose if I punch you in the face or not.
me. You're right. That's your choice.
Okay.
But it's a binary choice. You
But-
chose to punch me in the face. You chose not to punch me in the face. It's
But-
binary choice. But then there's an outcome that goes from there. I can decide to blast you back. I can decide not to blast you. It ripples.
Okay.
Like your effect, your binary choice
Okay.
has this
An
multiple.
effect.
but okay, but why? But that's not the only possibilities, Josh.
I don't.
There are
think
a
this-
lot of things.
a
there are a
sniper
lot of
could
things-
take you out before you shoot me. Yes,
There are a lot of things that have nothing to do with choice
that happen.
Yes.
that happen.
But there are choices that set.
There are a
those
lot of
in
things that
motion.
you can't even
And
understand.
those choices are binary.
No, they're not.
It-
A butterfly decides to fly through the air, or it decides not to fly through the air. It decides to move one wing a little bit. It decides not to. That's a binary choice.
A asteroid hits another asteroid, deflects it towards a planet.
Okay.
No
Yes.
one chose anything there.
You're correct.
That just happened.
Okay.
These are.
And
these
that's
are-
not.
Where-
That's
where
not.
you- where you
That's
going with that?
that's not. That's not a choice that was ever made.
You're correct.
And that's not a
He's
binary.
not saying. He's not saying everything that happens is
He
because
was
of
saying
a
that.
choice.
He was saying that earlier. He was saying everything is a binary option.
Everything that you choose
is a binary option.
Everything you choose. So now we're on
any
a
choices. No, it's
completely different.
choices.
No, it's been the same. That's in the whole thing. This entire
No,
time. Tony.
I have everything recorded.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm talking about
We can go
choices.
back, yeah,
Choices
we
are
can-
binary. You said, why is a choice binary? I can go this way or this way or this way.
no, that's not what I said either. I have the whole thing recorded. So
Okay.
So- I have the whole thing recorded.
I've got your little map here. If you go
No.
any different direction because you made a choice to go that way.
No, I was saying. Okay.
Is that not what you? I'm just asking.
No. That's not. That was never
Okay,
what
that
I
was
was
not your
talking.
point.
That was never
Okay.
what I was talking about. That was never what I was talking about, and that's not what we were talking about in the beginning. So we can go back and watch this later. Now that you've changed what it's about, Seth has changed what it's about.
binary. That was my.
I changed it.
You are
That's
the one
what-
that's like. You're the one that's saying.
God damn it,
You.
Seth.
He's saying you choose everything,
No,
and I'm saying no. You don't choose everything.
I didn't say you choose everything. I said your choices are binary.
Okay.
So you chose
Well, we're
to say
good.
okay,
We're good.
or you
We're
could
good.
choose not to say okay.
Or I
That's-
could choose to say fuck you, or I could choose to say
That's a separate choice.
that's not binary though. I could choose to say okay or choose not to say okay is
Well,
binary.
Yes.
Just keep it
Or
in
you can
mind,
choose to
guys.
say fuck
This
you,
is all
or
the
not say fuck
simulation.
you.
There's
do it
so many
or not
different
do it.
options there. That's not binary.
Those are separate choices that you're making.
What word do you decide to use is a choice.
That's
I get what he's saying.
What word do you choose to use as a is
or that you
is
choose
not-
to say it or not say it, or that you considered a word to say or didn't consider that word or considered another word.
So even
Those
choices are not binary, is what you're saying.
No, I'm saying the choice is binary.
Why?
All choices.
Why? Why? Why are they binary? Why do you think so simply? Why do you think every choice is one thing?
I'm breaking it down to a basic level.
But what if
He's not saying.
But what if it could be 4 different choices? Why do you think that it has to be
Each consideration is a binary choice.
Okay. So,
So when
each
you- when you
consideration each consideration when you roll a d4 is a binary choice.
No,
No,
those are
you
outcomes.
rolling
A one
you
is
rolling
2
it.
different choices.
No, Tony, you're
The dice isn't making a choice.
the results.
The
I
die
could
is not
roll
making a
it,
choice.
I could roll it, I could not roll it, or I could roll it and roll it.
So what you're saying about the dice roll actually fits more into your metaphor about the meteorites, because it's an inanimate object. The choice that was made was
to
whether or
act
not-
on the inanimate object.
And then now, what he's saying,
The outcome of
just
said
for
object
for
could be
example,
infinite.
You're driving down the street. You're driving to a stop sign. You have infinite decisions you can make.
Mm-hmm.
You can run that stop sign. That's a choice. Did you run that stop
To do
sign?
it or not to do it.
You can stop at that stop sign. Did you do that? Or did
Why?
You go?
Why is it one or the other?
I don't know. I didn't make up the
Wait,
universe.
Tony, but what are you gonna do? You gonna fly over the stop sign?
It is
It's
not,
like, is that
it's
another
not
choice
binary.
you have?
You realize that if we are in a simulation, we're not in a
So
binary simulation,
me,
right?
You're
Well, I
telling
agree
me
with
right
you
now
on that, on
that
simulation
that
theory.
that you're able to think of multiple things in
Yes.
one moment at one period of time. Think about all the possible
I'm not
outcomes
even,
and
I'm not
do
even
it.
able to think of 2 different things at one instant in
You're
time.
making binary choices
I'm not
very
able
quickly.
to make. I'm making more
We
than
process,
1 or
like-
2 very quickly.
Yeah, because we process shit really fast.
Okay, but
Each
but it's not-
individual
but it's not-
possibility is a binary choice.
No, it's not. I disagree.
Okay,
I
you can-
absolutely disagree.
Okay.
The possibility, but not the outcome. I agree
No.
with you.
No.
The outcome can always be different.
No. You can choose more than 2 different things at any given time.
We know, but those are
So
all
maybe
different
there is.
choices.
Maybe there is. Sometimes it's only 1 or 2.
Okay, let me give you this. You can pick from 3 things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you
You're
pick,
thinking
if you
everything-
pick
you're-
one of the 3
you're
things,
thinking of it-
each time you're doing a binary choice. Should I pick this thing?
Do I
Yes,
want-
no.
do
Should
I
I pick
want
this
the
thing?
apple?
Yes, no. Should
You're
I pick this
thinking
thing?
of
But you're
everything
doing
as
it
a-
very quickly.
You're thinking of everything as a pass or fail system.
Because it
That's not-
is.
No.
It's happening very, very quickly.
Okay.
So
Why
quick.
does-
So quick. It's not happening in one moment.
Okay. If everything's happening very, very quickly,
Okay.
why does it have to be 1 or 2 choices? Why does it have to be one of 2 choices?
We're not saying your choices are limited. We're saying what.
Each decision that you
You're
make is
basically-
limited.
I could basically be like, well, there's only 1 choice at any given time. And that's the same argument you're making.
What?
There's fate. We're stuck on this path. Is the same-
That's one argument. That is a.
That's the same thing he's basically saying is that
How am I saying that?
is you
There's
only
choice.
have 1 choice. Why do you not have 3 choices? Why do you not have
do.
4
You do have 3 choices, but your consideration of each choice
Is binary.
is a binary choice.
It's an
I
action.
disagree. No.
Okay, that's
Okay,
fine.
I disagree.
All right.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
fine. We're allowed to
why
disagree.
do you think that?
I explained it. So in
I'm
a scenario where you have 3 things and you have to choose one of the 3 things, just
Mhm.
in this example, you consider each of the 3 things. You may pick one of 3. That's a 1 in 3 chance that you pick any one of these 3 things, right?
That's the.
Okay.
But each time you're thinking on each item,
That's how
do
you
I
think,
pick
I
it
guess.
or not pick it? Am I pick it?
You've never been a kid at the candy store and just saw the aisle of candy.
I've been a kid at a candy
I'm
store.
just saying, like, you got the aisle of candy.
It's the same
and you're
thing. Like
and
it
your mom
happens
goes-
quick.
Your mom goes,
but-
you can only pick 1 or 2 things. And you're looking at that wall.
That
Oh,
has-
Snickers sounds good. Oh shit, those cherry sour.
This is a
balls
slowed
sound
down
good.
version of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This
But like
happens
when it comes
instantaneously.
narrowed down to it, you come down to like 1 or 2 choices, and you're just like, okay, well, she's
Your decision to act on something is a binary choice.
I
But that's in the
disagree.
context of
I disagree.
Like, it already
And
did.
that's
disagree.
fine. That's
Okay,
fine. You
okay.
can disagree. We voiced how we see it, and you voiced how you see it. We are allowed to.
So the bottom
disagree.
line is Burger King has better
Yes.
plant-based sandwiches.
I agree.
I agree with that.
But okay.
Finally, something we can all agree on.
No,
He likes Carl's Jr.
Oh my god.
That was
You
his
had a
binary
choice. You had a choice.
He had Carl's Jr. or Burger
See,
King.
now you guys.
No,
are
I could
choosing
have been
to
like,
be
I don't
Sorry,
like
yeah.
either of them.
We are what?
I could have been like, I don't like either of them.
You could have. But that's
binary
another
choice.
consideration where you could
I
have
can
said
think of all
that.
three of those things at once. Why do I have to choose two at a time?
doesn't happen.
I'm super
That's so
smart.
Your perception is that it's happening all at once. But it's not happening all at once.
Your perception is only two things are happening at once. Only one thing is actually happening at once, Josh.
It's a switch, on or off, right?
On
but it's
or
happening
off,
very
or 3,
quickly.
or 4, or 5, or 6. It's
Yes,
not,
that's
those aren't- those two things
each
you're
one is
thinking
a
about-
separate choice.
Josh, the two things you're thinking about are not happening at the same time.
No, because one or the other happens.
So only one is happening at one time.
Yeah, you've
And then the
decided
other
you
one, and
don't
then the
like
other
it
one,
or
and
you
then
do
the other
like
one.
it. Yes, but it's happening very quickly.
It's okay. It is happening.
That's
very
how
quickly.
rationale works.
Yes. So why
Yes.
is that only two options?
No, I'm saying
is it a
I'm saying
binary
at its
choice?
basis
Why
level,
is there
it's a
only two
binary
options?
choice.
Why is there only two options every time?
Because you can or you can't.
no, it isn't.
You
every
can
time.
or you can't. That's a real, like, that's as simple as, like, you can or you can't. You either do or you don't.
Why?
But
why do you think that way? That is so simple.
How do you?
yes, that's
I
what I'm
don't
saying.
think like
It's
that.
so simple.
No, I want you to break down.
Yeah,
how
okay,
you're-
give us an example where
Okay, say I'm at the candy store.
Okay.
And I want to pick out 3 different candies.
okay.
I go around and each one I fucking am like, okay. Yes, I want that.
Okay.
Yes, I want that. Yes, I want that.
So you picked all 3.
Was
Was that a choice?
There's way more than 2 choices.
We know.
No,
we're not saying
Your
there
options,
aren't options.
you have 3 options.
You're
but on
correct.
each item, you thought, I want it or I don't want it.
No.
Binary.
Or maybe I'll come back.
That's fair.
That's a binary choice.
that's-
You
No,
decided
it's
to
not.
think about it.
What the fuck are you talking about?
we get.
What are you talking about? You're so crazy right now. There's more than 2 choices, Josh. You guys are all so fucking confused about
There's
this.
more than 2 choices available to you, but when looking at
But you can only choose one of 2.
No,
you can
when
only
you're
choose yes or no.
considering a
You can only
choice-
choose yes or no. You can only choose yes or no.
That's not what
You
we're
guys,
saying.
yes, that's what he is exactly saying. That is exactly what he's saying. You can only choose yes or no every time. Why can't you choose maybe? Why can't you choose
Maybe
other?
is a choice.
Maybe
Our
it's a
brain.
choice.
So,
you chose maybe or you not choosing maybe. Like,
so you can continue to think that way. That's fine with me.
okay.
I tried to help you.
I hope somebody's watching this, like, shouting at the screen right now.
I hope so too. Like, these guys are idiots.
Well,
Our girlfriends want to sleep, Tony.
that's what's today's.
Mine doesn't.
Yeah, she does.
Her bed's right there.
With the paper thin walls of the screaming.
Oh, dude, she's good.
She's
Josh's whole family's already asleep. You can go on
Yes,
for
hopefully
another-
they better be.
You guys can leave. Me and Justin go.
And that's a choice, a binary choice.
Tony's about to fucking.
He's like, I'm gonna
beat all of
start
us
throwing
like a
stuff around. Okay, so if you wanted to throw one of these mic stands at me, there are 3 mic stands, okay?
You have 3
but you
options.
I
consider
have to say
each
yes
one.
Or no. Yes or no. Yes.
Yes!
Yes,
You got it!
Absolutely.
You got it!
Absolutely. Because you're going to throw
Your brain
one
process-
of these 3 at
No.
him.
But
I'm
you're
not gonna
doing it
think
very
about those.
quickly.
I'm not going to think about those.
Your brain processes that.
Okay,
shit.
Tony.
No, and I
I'm
get
gonna
what he's
throw.
saying.
I'm gonna throw
No,
one of
I
these
got-
4 mics at you.
You guys are wrong.
I
You guys
picked
are
this
wrong.
one.
You guys are absolutely wrong.
No, in that instance, I've
guys
already
are
said no. That's too.
I understand what Tony is
You
saying.
guys-
Okay, please,
wrong.
please explain it to me.
In this situation, the specific one,
Okay.
there is. He's saying he would be so blinded by rage.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Can't process. This is how I'm understanding what you're saying. That you're not. Your brain is.
You're not even thinking about it.
primally activated. That there isn't a thought process. It just does.
That's not even what I'm saying.
Okay, what are you saying?
I'm saying that
We know there.
That is a possibility too. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that isn't something that can happen, but that's one of so many possibilities.
Yes, we know there's multiple possibilities.
That's one of so many things you can think about at once. Why do you think?
Because the brain works
you guys
that instant.
Okay, you guys can keep your brains can keep thinking like that. Mine already doesn't. I'm sorry that you guys are so simple. I don't know what to tell you. I feel like you guys are.
You just chose not to know what to tell us.
That's true.
Like when we make decisions.
Okay, you can break anything down like that and be like, oh, you chose one of two.
That's
you
what I'm saying.
You can do
That's
that.
You can do that with anything.
Yeah, but
that's the base level of a decision is yes or no of anything you do, of any component of what you do.
Subconscious.
It happens so quickly.
Yes, no, or maybe at the very least.
You're choosing
yes,
maybe.
No, or maybe.
You're choosing
yes,
maybe.
No, or maybe at the very least. But that's a very simplistic way to still think about it.
He's giving
if you can't expand upon yes, no, then you are so simple.
No, I'm breaking it down to a simple level, to the most simple level, to the most basic level. It's a yes or no. There are many things, like me waving my hands around. This is me deciding to wave my hands around. That's a yes or no. Where I wave it, that's a different spot, but
that's
there are thoughts.
Yes or no. That's a different yes or no. That's
yes!
A different yes or no. That's either... No, it's not! No, it's not! What are you talking about? You didn't make that choice.
Yes,
you didn't make that choice.
I didn't make that choice.
There are so many things you do that aren't even a choice you made. Let alone the choices you do make.
They're an unconscious choice.
Breathing is an unconscious choice.
No, it's not. That's not a choice.
Your body decides to inhale and exhale. Like your brain, there's a component of your brain that is inhale, exhale.
Okay.
There are unconscious choices.
We're not saying there aren't many options. There aren't many possibilities.
Yes, he is.
No, I'm not.
He's saying at any given moment, there's only two options.
Yes.
At any given moment.
Yes.
At any given moment, there's only one option in that case. In any given nanosecond, when you break it down to the very smallest we can't even comprehend, there's only one option.
We wouldn't move. Like, space and time would just be static because nothing.
So you're saying
nothing is acting.
You're saying there's nothing in between. You get one or two. One or two. Yes,
no,
that's what
I'm saying the base level of a choice is yes or no. So think of a complex choice.
Maybe.
No, because you're choosing maybe.
So yeah, you can choose yes. You can choose no, or you can choose maybe. That's 3.
And each of those choices was a yes or no to select that choice.
Oh my god!
When your brain processes whether or not you want something, Tony.
So what you're saying is there's infinite choices.
There's an infinite number of yes/no choices. Yes.
Yes.
There's infinite yes, no, or maybe choices.
No, I'm going with just the binary.
There's a yes, no, or maybe.
Yes, no, or maybe. Yes or no. Yes or no. Yes or no.
What about
if I select one of these, that's a yes or no too.
What about no? There's not always.
If it's a selection, even there's a 6-sided die. I'm going to put it on the 6.
You understand though that
the choice isn't the outcome of the roll in that case. The choice is me rolling.
So you're saying all you're trying to say is that when we make a choice, we choose yes or no.
At the base level, yes.
Okay. Conversation over.
I'm saying choices are at the base level. Choices are binary.
Okay, conversation is over.
Amen. Tune in next week.